on that. So sorry, YouTube audience. But radio audience, you get us exclusively right now. It's just us. What do you want to talk about? Well, we got to talk
right?
about.
You don't have to share for once.
I know.
You don't have to share
radio,
with the YouTube.
It's just
chat.
about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let the YouTubers over there. They'll come in eventually. It's just about you.
See, the YouTube is saying they didn't want the YouTubers to hear you choking at the start of the segment. So it's as if it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Except for I already have a clip of it.
Oh, perfect. Glad you do. There we go. As my computer is now on. Yesterday was quite the day, and it wasn't even free agency. Like, what are we doing here? Why should we even pretend that free agency starts today? Because you have basically 19 different deals around the NBA that are going to be signed as soon as free agency opens, and a ton of movement around the NBA yesterday. It was a super big day for the Sacramento Kings, from the rookie press conference that we aired live for you yesterday to Zach LaVine opting into his contract like we all saw coming. The Devin Carter trade of the Atlanta Hawks broke during our show. Mm-hmm. And right after the Darius Acuff Jr. interview with the Drive guys yesterday, Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles doing a great job with him. Bam! This Jalen Duren news comes out of nowhere. I think it was Chris Haynes that initially put it out there. The Sacramento Kings, I'll tell you what.
Chris Haynes?
Scott,
you've been briefed.
Scott Perry saying he's going to be prudent and opportunistic. Well, he's certainly living up to those words, because second summer in a row, there's a contract dispute happening between a player and a team. Let me just mosey my way on in there and get involved.
That's what he does, though, right? I mean, you heard the interview just about 5 minutes ago on the morning show, and they asked about his ability to keep connections and build on connections through his long career in basketball. And this is really the benefits of that, Matt. It is the benefits of being a connective person. Mm-hmm. No matter what type of field you're in, things come back around. People build things off of trust. So we can say all that we want, that Sacramento is not a valued market in terms of what they've done lately, mm-hmm. or it's a smaller, mid-sized market. But it takes sometimes one person that's up at the top, or, in a management position, to really start to build those trust relationships. And it just takes one player to want to come here, and a lot can come out of that. And I'm not saying, Jalen Duren's coming here or anything.
Sure.
But I am saying it means something, that there is interest from him even.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I know Scott Perry is very serious about when he took this job that he's now just over a year into, is that he was not going to become the general manager of the Sacramento Kings as we know it. He's coming in to be the general manager of a different version of the Sacramento Kings, and to change the perspective of the Sacramento Kings around the league. And I'm not talking about the low-hanging fruit. I'm not necessarily talking about how the Kings are the butt of the joke, although I'm sure Perry wants to correct that as well. Yeah. But Sacramento has never been a primary free agency destination. There's always a with Sacramento. There's always a but. There's always an asterisk. Oh, it's not a very big nightlife city. Players don't want to play here because of X, Y, and Z. The California state income tax, Cowtown, all this stuff that we've just learned to live with and accept about our organization. And honestly, we love it in many ways here in Sacramento. It's what we kind of are true to our own. It's what makes us so special. But Scott is not trying to change our identity. He's just trying to let it be known that he's not going to accept that it's just the way it is, that Sacramento's not going to attract talent. And Carmichael Dave pointed it out earlier in the day here on Sactown Sports, and he's absolutely right that when Perry was here before, when he was the assistant general manager under Vlade Divac, the Kings were very aggressive and very successful in some of the names they were able to bring in free agency. And here is Scott Perry already. He was able to bring in a guy like Russell Westbrook, and now he was very involved in the Jonathan Kuminga situation, and that situation might not be over with, because Kuminga is now a unrestricted free agent, although I'm skeptical the Kings will be able to get him, and Sam Amick seems to believe, or has reported, that the Kings are not exactly going after him. Now there's also Jalen Duren is entering the chat. Like, it's clear that Scott is going to operate as if he's still running the New York Knicks. He's going to operate as if he's running the Detroit Pistons. He's going to operate as if he's in a major market, because ultimately he doesn't care where the team is. He's trying to build the best team possible. And you can see that in how he's carried himself over the last year and some change.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I like the fact that he's building off of this momentum from the draft. To talk about the NBA and how it's building off of its own momentum from the postseason. And I love the fact that the Kings are being involved right now with conversations, even if it doesn't come into fruition with some of these trades, which I do believe there's something going to happen. I don't know what that will be, but I do believe in terms of like some of the stuff that's happening, getting their name out there. I just heard this morning Kendrick Perkins, and he was like, good for Sacramento. Like, for the fact that Jalen Duren is even mentioned as being someone who would want to go to the Kings, he goes, even if it doesn't happen, that's a really good look for Scott Perry. He goes, Scott Perry is doing what he needs to do right now. And that's exactly right. You cooked in the draft, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Sure. Everybody else can have their own.
A lot of experts agree.
Right.
A lot of high grades.
He's now continuing that with free agency, which officially kicks off today.
3:00.
With keeping names out there and keeping his own players in the mix. I think it's brilliant. Job well done by Scott Perry.
Let's talk about the Jalen Duren situation a little more specifically here, because I'll be honest with you. I do not believe that Jalen Duren wants to play in Sacramento more than he wants to play anywhere else. I don't believe that. I don't. I think Jalen Duren likes the idea of playing in Sacramento. I think he has an understanding of who Scott Perry is. He certainly, because of his agency, understands who B.J. Armstrong is as the Kings' assistant general manager. Scott Perry's reputation around the league. So I'm not discrediting at all the reports of what Sam Amick said and Chris Haynes said. Like, no, he very much likes the idea of playing in Sacramento. I think Jalen Duren is going to go where he is most financially appreciated.
Yeah.
So do I believe Jalen Duren would like to play for the Sacramento Kings more than the other 29 teams in the NBA, including staying with the Detroit Pistons? No, I actually don't. But do I believe that the Sacramento Kings are willing to insert themselves in the conversation because they might be willing to give Duren the contract that the Detroit Pistons are clearly uncomfortable with giving him or are balking at a little bit, and attracting and bringing in a 22-year-old coming off of an all-star season, especially if they can move likely Domantas Sabonis as part of this conversation? And it'll probably cost the Kings more than just Domantas Sabonis, but still, like, it makes perfect sense in my mind for the Kings to be involved in something like this, to insert themselves in the conversation and to be willing to put the money on the table that maybe the Detroit Pistons, who are thinking about how do I build a championship team right now properly and don't close this window that just opened up, that's what they're considering. It makes perfect sense to me that the Kings are entering into this conversation. But I don't subscribe to Jalen Duren wants to play in Sacramento first and foremost. I'm just not there, and that's okay.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there is obviously some sort of, this doesn't get out unless there is some sort of interest.
Sure.
And of course, like, money talks. We absolutely know that. And I'm sure right now his camp is keeping their ears, I should say, open to other people's offers. Obviously, we had also heard the report yesterday that he scheduled a meeting with the Lakers. So clearly those are two different organizations.
Right.
But I think just, again, to have the Kings in the mix with some of this stuff is just, it's good for content, first and foremost, because it could be completely silent.
Yep.
And we wouldn't be talking about any of this stuff, and it would make for boring radio. So if anything, guys, you got something to talk about for the next few days.
I'll be honest with you. My gut feeling is that Jalen Duren's going to remain in Detroit. That's my gut feeling. And while on the surface level, the Kings can't be used as direct leverage because they don't have the money right now to directly sign him to an offer sheet, right? Like, they don't. The Kings signing Duren and giving him the money that he wants to pry him out of Detroit is contingent upon the Detroit Pistons agreeing to take a Domantas Sabonis or Zach LaVine,
right?
Plus, I'd imagine some sort of draft compensation off of their hands.
Yep.
So everything is contingent upon what the Detroit Pistons agree to do. Where this is beneficial for Duren is not just, hey, see, there's a team here that's willing to pay me what I believe I'm worth, so you should do the same thing. It's beneficial for Duren because it puts pressure on the Detroit Pistons in a couple of ways. way number one is there's a team willing to pay me for my services right now. So if you don't think I'm worth it, the market is being dictated by another team that says I am. So you have to take that into account, and that gives me a stronger foundation to stand on when asking for or demanding the money that I'm demanding. The other part of the conversation is, and I don't think Jalen Duren should do this because I think it would be a terrible idea based off of the year that he just had, but there could always be the Jonathan Kuminga qualifying offer route of, well, fine, if you don't give me the money that I want, sign a qualifying offer, I'll stay there for one more year, and then I'll go visit the Sacramento Kings or other teams in 2027 when a lot more teams have cap space to give me the money that I'm worth. I think that's a stupid thing for Jalen Duren to do because he's coming off of an all-star season at 22 years old, and we saw what happened in the playoffs, and if that were to happen again, his value would go down. So I don't think he's going to do the qualifying offer route, and the Pistons probably know that. But there's a team out there right now that theoretically is willing to pay you the money that you want, which should drive up it puts pressure on the Detroit Pistons. If you want to keep him, you're going to have to now pay for him a little bit. And that's ultimately what I think is going to happen.
And again, you gotta get in there and you gotta make it difficult for Detroit. That's what every team that possibly could be, wanting to negotiate something is doing. I mean, you have to come in and try to make it a thing. It is kind of stirring up drama in a way.
Yeah.
And some of that drama plays out to be realistic. But who are the two? So Sam Amick is one of the reporters.
Yeah, and Chris Haynes.
And Chris Haynes.
Yep.
Now, they're both connected here in Sacramento in a lot of ways.
Yep.
So I wonder, too, like with those reports, and again, I'm not saying I know any of this. I have no idea what happened with this. But do you feel like that's more so coming from Sacramento's camp with some of this stuff? And we haven't really heard anything for the most part of what Detroit is really thinking or Jalen is directly thinking on this.
It very much benefits the Sacramento Kings for it to be out there that Jalen Duren wants to play for the Sacramento Kings.
I think so too.
I would imagine there is some of that coming from the Sacramento perspective. I also don't think the Kings would want to set the expectation that they're going to get Duren only to basically pump fake their own fan base. So I think we need to make sure we understand what the report is. The report is not the Sacramento Kings are close to landing Jalen Duren. It's that the Sacramento Kings are very much involved and in the mix because Duren likes what they're providing or what they're presenting, because the Kings are presenting the money that, in theory, the Pistons are not willing to present. But it all still falls on Detroit. Detroit has to be willing to say, fine, we'll take Domantas Sabonis, who's an older center, who also has a reputation of struggling in the playoffs. And the reason why the Pistons aren't jumping to throw the bag at Jalen Duren right now after the season that he had was because of how much he struggled in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So it's a very similar situation. Plus, there's only 1 year left after this year on Domantas Sabonis' contract. And Sabonis is 6-7 years older than Duren is.
Right. So Sabonis is what? He's 27 or so?
I think he just turned 29.
Oh, 29. Okay. So he's
30. I'm sorry. He just
turned 30.
He just turned 30.
So Domantas Sabonis 30, Jalen Duren 22. Now, I think what is always the thing that we forge forward in when we hear something like this. Again, there's just the interest. It's not like this is like a trade that's in the works right now. But the first thing we think of is like age, right? And a guy that's very, very young who still has a lot of his meat of his career to come. And comparing it to Sabonis, which I'm not calling Sabonis an old man by any means. He's 30 years old.
Right.
However, and he still has plenty of years to play. However, when you're thinking future for the Kings and building a young squad and all that stuff, of course this appeals to you, to most fans. But I'd be the first to say I'm being hypocritical to say right away without thinking about it, like, oh yeah, give me Duren, like no worries in the world, because I was very critical about Jalen Duren's performance in the postseason. And I think that doesn't mean everything about what his career will be.
Right.
I think if anything, Jalen Duren learns from what happened or didn't happen in the postseason. But I think his body of work during the regular season was enough to have hope in the future that if that trade were to ever have been made, it would be a pretty good situation for Sacramento.
If you're the Kings and you're trying to sell a Duren-Sabonis swap to the Pistons, because again, you have to sell it to Detroit for them to be willing to do this. In addition to, like, there is going to have to be draft compensation in this trade. They don't do it straight up. You have to attach. I wouldn't attach more than like a future first to this. If the Pistons ask for multiple, you have to consider it. But I get uncomfortable once you start doing multiple first because you're still giving up, in theory, the best player in the deal in Sabonis. But that's what you're trying to sell the Pistons on is, why would I trade a 22-year-old center for a 30-year-old center? Because the 30-year-old center, in theory, should help you win more right now. And you're coming off of a season where you're the number 1 seed. And your title window in the East is now. Like, this is not a... And why would the Kings want to take on Duren if he had the same concerns as Sabonis did with his playoff performance? Because in theory, you're bringing in a 22-year-old to develop with your new 19-year-old that you brought in, and your 25-year-old, I think, in Keegan. I think Keegan's 25. 25-year-old in Keegan. You're trying to develop that group together to where maybe they don't make the playoffs next season. They probably shouldn't and won't make the playoffs next season, even if you brought Duren in. But you can build them together to where once you do get to the playoffs, hopefully Duren's in his prime at that point and has learned, like you talked about, from his mistakes, versus the Pistons. Hey, we're trying to get right back there right now. We're bringing in Domantas Sabonis, who, if he stays healthy, should be the best rebounder in the league, is a much more solid pass-first center that Cade Cunningham can play off of a little bit better. That's how I'm selling it. I don't know if the Pistons are buying it.
Well, I mean, that's a great way of selling it. I'll tell you that much. If anything, it's a great way of selling it to Duren. You know, and I know, like, maybe he's like, I want to win now, but I think he does feel he's a little, like, I don't know. He took some hits during the postseason in terms of, I'm sure, Detroit media. I'm sure with them not wanting to give him a potential max deal in terms of the Pistons. Everybody in this league, no matter if you want to say it or not, there's sensitivity in situations like that.
Of course.
We're seeing what's happened with Jaylen Brown right now. And it's happened for the second time. So I doubt that he's back. But it just takes that one kind of uneasy feeling by a player and then want somewhere else that could potentially, like, make that interesting for a guy like that that's so young. And then he sees, like, what they're building here. And again, there's a ways to go. But he also sees that runway where he is able to kind of grow with the team.
If you're Duren, he's looking at the Pistons situation and going, if you're hesitant to pay me now after coming off of an all-star season at 22 years old, when you have the cap space to be able to do it, why would you not hesitate? If I took a smaller deal, that's a 3-year deal, let's say, or a 4-year deal, and then I'm looking for my next big contract.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there as like the 4th, 5th highest player on the team if we truly entered into a championship window, and then you paid to bring in the next guy, or because they're going to replace like a Tobias Harris or something like that. Like, if you're Duren, I understand the concerns that he has with the Detroit Pistons, so much so that it sounds like the relationship between Duren and the Pistons is pretty fractured right now. That doesn't mean it can't be repaired, but it's pretty fractured. And we're going to talk about that specifically with someone who understands the Pistons very well, our good friend Kuka Hill from Locked On Pistons. He's very well plugged in with the Detroit Pistons organization. He's also very passionate about this stuff. We're going to have him on at 1 o'clock today to really break down and dive into this conversation from the Pistons' perspective, because, again, the Pistons hold all the cards here, just like the Warriors held all the cards in the Jonathan Kuminga situation. So all the Kings can do is be disruptive. And here's the thing, Kayla, I'm curious your thoughts on this. This is what makes me the most excited. And here, to me, is the real victory or the real meat and potatoes in this report. Scott Perry is not waiting around for whatever the league dictates is a Kings move. He's not waiting. I'm throwing my name into the hat. If there's a 22-year-old freaking all-star center available for me to go out and get, I'm putting myself in the conversation, and I'm going to create a relationship to where they're having a face-to-face meeting with the dude today. I'm going to create a relationship with him that even if it doesn't benefit me right now, it might benefit me 4 years from now if he is a restricted or unrestricted free agent down the road. He has a relationship established with Jonathan Kuminga from the conversations that they had last year to where now Kuminga is a free agent, an unrestricted free agent. If the Kings were to throw their name back into that hat, could they benefit from potentially bringing in Kuminga for less money because there's already an established relationship? Scott Perry is not waiting around for the Kings to be better, and he's not waiting around for what the league says this is a Kings move. I'm putting myself in the conversation with Detroit. I'm putting myself in the conversation with Golden State because that's what I need to do to improve this team, and I love that about him.
I do too. That's how you work the room. That's how you work relationships. It pays off, and you're right. It doesn't have to pay off a year down the road or instantly. It can pay off when you're reuniting with someone after 3 years, but that player remembers the respect you gave him or the opportunity or just the conversation with your agent. Sometimes I would say, like, more so it can pay off than not. And if anything, what are you losing having that? But I love the fact that you're saying he's being aggressive in what he's wanting to do. He's not letting the league dictate any of that in terms of what the Kings get in terms of scraps. Yeah. The other thing I'll say too is I know Scott Perry came on here the first, time that he spoke with everyone last year, and he did his media rounds, right? But he said that there's a timeline, and he gave a big timeline in terms of it could take 3 to 4 years to build what we want here. I like the fact he did that because even though he said it could take 3 to 4 years, that in his mind is not going to be like his exact timeline. He wants to get it done sooner than later.
Of course.
But giving that timeline is brilliant because it keeps expectations a little bit lower than we're doing this in 2 years, it's a turnaround.
Yeah. I want to be a millionaire in 4 or 5 years from now. That doesn't mean I wouldn't do what I need to do to be a millionaire next year.
Exactly.
And there's a very significant difference between a move to cut the line and an opportunity that presents itself to potentially accelerate that timeline. And that's what I look at this Jalen Duren situation as. It's not the same thing as the Kings going out and throwing 3 first-round picks plus whatever at the Boston Celtics to bring in Jaylen Brown. That's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
And I love Jaylen Brown. It's not the same thing. Bringing in a 22-year-old that, let me put it this way. I even put a rotation out there.
I saw it. I thought it was pretty good.
Just on social media to talk about. If he brings in Duren, and let's say with other moves around the edges, you're looking at Acuff, Monk at your point guard position, Levine, Clifford, Sharp at your 2 guard, Murray, Hunter, Plowden at the 3, Achiuwa, Caravan at the 4, Duren, Reynaud, Cardwell at the 5. And obviously the Kings would mix and mingle rotations, maybe 2 center lineups, whatever. If you're bringing a team like that into next season, are they a playoff team? I don't know. But if you bring Jalen Duren in, attach him to Acuff, and hopefully Keegan continues to play or plays the role that Keegan needs to play with that group, and maybe you add another first-round pick from next year on top of that, is it crazy to say that the Kings in 2 or 3 years are suddenly now a playoff team as Acuff is getting to 22 years old and Duren's getting to 24, 25? I don't think that's crazy at all. So it puts the Kings in a potential position to accelerate their timeline while still having a core that is around the same age group. So not only are you there sooner, you now have the ability to last and stay there longer. That's what a Duren move presents itself. That's why it's an opportunity that Perry is involving himself in.
Yeah, and it's, again, this isn't anything solidified. This is just out there, and we'll see how things are as we monitor, throughout the day in the next week or so. But, yeah, I mean, Scott Perry has some work to do this summer. We all know that. But we've got to, at some point, there's going to be something, I think, that's going to happen.
Yep. It's been reported Jalen Duren is meeting with the Sacramento Kings today when free agency opens. So if we get any information about how that meeting goes, I'm certainly poking and prodding. We'll share that for you and find out more as the day goes on. Also, apparently the Lakers have a phone call or a digital meeting with him. Hey, buzz off. Stay out of this,
right?
Lakers.
Get your
you don't get everything.
paws off
I know
that.
you just lost LeBron James or he's leaving you. Go away. All right? Stay out of this.
Skittle.
This is Sacramento and Detroit business. We'll take the break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about LeBron, the report today from Shams that he will return next season, but not to the Lakers. And we'll react to some of the things that Scott Perry said in his exclusive interview with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross on The Morning Show. Matt and Kayla just getting started here on a Tuesday. Free agency day on Sactown Sports.
Take Sactown Sports with you everywhere you go with the Sactown Sports app. The most in-depth coverage of the Kings and 49ers. A library of written and video content. And all your favorite personalities all in one place. Download the Sactown Sports app today and get in on the action. Your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave.
What's up? It's Matt George.
What's good? Sound styles.
With the most trusted voices in the community.
This is Jason Ross.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson.
It's Whitey Gleason.
Ready to help promote your business, both as partners and customers. All you have to do is ask. Pick up the phone, dial pound 250 and say, grow my business to get connected with a team member today. That's pound 250 and say, grow my business. Our team will review your product, quickly pair you with a perfect endorser, and create video and audio samples all at no cost or obligation to you. With the most live and local on-air lineup, a dynamic content-driven website, and a state-of-the-art mobile app, Sactown Sports 1140 is tailor-made to help you connect with a sports audience in Sacramento. So why wait? Dial pound 250 today. Say, grow my business, and let us help take you to the next level.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.
Nope. Fisher has a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of their client's portfolio. So they do better when their clients do better.
It sounds like Fisher really is different.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fisher Investments. Clearly different wealth management. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the match day spread. He's reaching for the Buffalo wing. Perfect. Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too. Incredible. What a finish. Sensational combination. Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
The Sacramento Kings return to Golden One Center this weekend for the California Classic presented by Ticketmaster. Come see top NBA draft picks from the Kings, Warriors, Bucks, and Nets go head-to-head across 6 games on July 4th, 5th, and 6th. California Classic tickets are just $21 or save 30% with a 3-day pass and secure a seat to all 6 games for only $50. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. As many of you know, my song Winning Streak is about my own personal struggles with addiction. I first sought help for my addiction at 14 years old. Start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at ChooseChangeCA.org. The real you is worth recovering. Choose Change California provides access to proven treatment options for addiction to opioids and stimulants. ChooseChangeCA.org. This is your chance to recover your life.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
The end of an era in La La Land. LeBron James moving on. This is from Shams Charania today. LeBron James will continue his NBA career for the 26-27 season. Hooray! And has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that the franchise can move on without it. Well, thanks for giving them permission, LeBron. Hey, you guys can move on. We give you permission to move on from me and focus on what you got to do.
Because he was like quiet. He was, out there working on his golf game, hadn't heard anything. And today he comes out and says, yep, pretty much.
I do think it's interesting.
Not going back.
If we're looking at timing of this, because I'm pretty sure, I'll try and find it, but I'm pretty sure Bronny James's $2 million deal became fully guaranteed yesterday. And now he told the Lakers. So it's like, was he holding out so his son would get fully guaranteed? Because the Lakers weren't going to cut his son if they want to keep LeBron around.
Right.
So they make Bronny fully guaranteed, and now Bron's like, all right, he got his money. I'm out of here.
I got my kid secured. I mean, would it surprise you?
It had to be intentional because it's basically just the date to have him off the roster was June 29th, which I don't know if that's just standard practice for these second-year contracts, but that is pretty funny that they set the date before LeBron's free agency as the day the Lakers had to decide to accept or keep him on the roster.
It's almost like Rich Paul and Clutch Sports know what they're doing. Well, Kyle, we're one step closer. LeBron.
I might throw a wrench. I might throw a wrench in this.
The Golden State retire. Oh, Cleveland wants a reunion. Oh, Cleveland. Ooh, seen it, been there, done that. Boring. LeBron likes Hollywood to take a private jet up to Chase Center every night.
Guys
Come
back
on, baby.
in Northeast Ohio, driving through his old neighborhood right now.
Of course he is. He goes home.
Doing some golfing up there.
That ain't nothing.
No fans appreciate LeBron James more than Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, they
fans.
really appreciated him when they were burning his jersey.
He came back though, and it all got fixed.
Yeah, it all worked
It's
out.
James Harden's team now, baby. They got Donovan Mitchell. What do they need LeBron for?
They'll take the bald over the beard any day.
Send him on
baby.
up I-80 or I-5. Send him on up and over to the Chase Center for the Golden State retirement.
Send him up to the Golden guys.
Did you see that Shams report this morning that was like, this is a happiness-motivated decision by LeBron? I was like,
happiness-motivated? That's
is a
hilarious.
happiness-led decision by LeBron. It's not about the money, which tells me there's no money out there for you, my guy.
You want to know what will make LeBron happy? It's not going back to cold-ass Cleveland. It's staying in California and playing with his best buddy Draymond and his arch rival.
I would have mistaken you for his agent. Are you his agent right now?
I'm taking a play out of the Allen Styles playbook.
Golden State.
Hey, listen, Joe Lacob, let's get this deal done, huh? Let's get this retirement home rocking, sponsored by whatever, like Rogaine or.
You don't need to convince Joe Lacob. Joe Lacob will do this.
Yeah, because it's no money involved for him.
It's money. It's jersey sales. It's ticket sales, and it's fun, man.
You ever seen that like Roadrunner meme where he like pops up behind you and he just comes? That would be Joe Lacob. The second LeBron is like,
exactly.
Hey Joe, hey, I'm here. Sign it. I'll sign anything, any amount.
Like butter on bread, baby.
It was always like I've obviously turned this into a bit, and I'm happy because I genuinely want
I
this
don't
to
know.
happen.
I think Matt is very, very excited about this potential Golden Guys.
I'm very much am because I think for entertainment purposes and for the league, it's phenomenal. Versus LeBron going back to Cleveland, I don't care. I don't because the Cleveland Cavaliers are clearly moving forward with whatever they're doing, just like LeBron and everybody knew the Lakers were Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic's team. LeBron is like a third wheel there. LeBron going to Cleveland, I think he should be ahead of James Harden, of course, because I dislike James Harden, but that's Donovan Mitchell's team. And I know LeBron going to the Golden State Warriors, it's Steph Curry's team. But LeBron joining his old rival and reuniting basically that Olympic team from a handful of years ago and putting together this I'm going out with the Golden State Warriors.
We might only play 5 games, but...
And those 5 games will be a lot of fun, and they'll all be on national
now
TV.
It's especially going to be 5 games because it looks like the Anthony Davis thing
is not going to happen.
It's done. So guess what? Jimmy Butler is going to come back in March, and it's going to he's going to be who is the old angry person from the Golden Girls?
Is it Blanche?
Think so. We whoever Anthony Davis was supposed to be.
Blanche is
yesterday.
kind of a Rudy. Rudy Tootie.
We can't cast Anthony Davis, so we got to cast Jimmy Butler in that role now.
Now, that could get fashionable, though. Maybe we'll have to change his role to one of the more fashionable Golden Guys.
That is true. Jimmy does have style.
The YouTube comment section is onto something. Think about it. Like, hey, Monday night, it's Kings, or it's Warriors in the Chase Center for bingo night. Hey!
Yes!
Come on.
Oh, my goodness.
I still can't believe LeBron is even, entertaining this.
It's brilliant.
It's not brilliant for... LeBron does not gain as much as everyone else does from this.
The Warriors gain the most, for sure. Of course they do.
The Warriors gain the most...
LeBron doesn't have to leave California.
The NBA gains the most, honestly.
Yeah,
but it gives people something to care about in the regular season.
I think LeBron would have the opportunity to play more meaningful basketball with the Golden State Warriors than he would with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, sorry. Manizit said, he corrected me. Say no, they're Golden Girls on here, guys. Sophia is the sarcastic one.
Okay, so that's Jimmy. Yes, that's Jimmy.
Kristaps Porzingis is coming back too, so you can just...
I don't think he gets to be a Golden guy. He's not old enough yet.
Yeah, even though he
Porzingis is like the 4th youngest person on that team.
I know.
Who is Pods? We haven't worked out who is Pods.
I told you there was the ex-husband and boyfriend that can be featured in it.
That's Pods.
Was he younger?
One of them was younger.
So whoever the young ex-husband is.
Yeah, the boyfriend was a younger one, even younger than her.
Yeah, then that's Pods.
Yeah.
Welcome to
that works.
Chase Center assisted living facility.
I do want to get a mug like Charles Barkley that says Golden Guys. I think I'll go get it made.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get in trouble for trademarking, right? It would be Golden Guys.
This needs to happen. This needs to happen.
And then I can just put their faces on the...
There's parody laws.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay,
this
cool.
needs to happen. I need it.
That I will do.
It is going to happen. He's not going to Cleveland. This is going to happen.
Woo!
It's crazy.
I love it.
Nobody else you think is in the mix?
I mean, I think the Mavericks would, but I don't think...
Boring.
Like, if it's the Mavericks or the Warriors, I guess I'd tell him to go to the Warriors.
Hell yeah. You don't even have to move, dude.
Yeah, like...
You know, this just reminded me of... The chat is on fire with this. But you remember, like, that commercial?
Yeah.
I'm falling and I can't get up.
That's every time LeBron takes the charge.
Who gets to star in it? Or they just rotate.
Come on, think about it.
The answer is Draymond.
The intro video is just Uncle Drew. Like it's phenomenal.
Oh, they should go get him too. What the heck?
Sponsored by like Ben Gay. Every single pregame, they're just all like. Every time they're sitting on the bench, their legs are just wrapped in ice. Nothing but ice.
You guys, what's that like protein drink that they have to drink for their
Ensure.
bones? Ensure. Brought to you by Ensure.
So you know how you go and step to the. When they go to their post-game press conferences and they'll put like the sponsored Gatorade with the Gatorade logo. It's just prune juice. Just prune juice and tapioca pudding out there for them. Come on.
Okay, guys.
What's also...
Let me take my dentures out real quick here for this pressure.
Listen, we're playing
One second here.
We're playing these young
One of the
Sacramento
funny
Kings.
unintended consequences I just realized of this is that they're going to have to just fill their bench with minimum guys. So it's going to be like those old Laker teams that had like Nick Young and Michael Beasley and just all these like D'Angelo Russell's going to end up on this team.
I was just going to say D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I promise D'Angelo Russell. They're just going to have to bring in all the minimum guys that no one else wants to fill out the rest of the roster. It's going to be so crazy.
I don't think, though, it's a true reunion of some, obviously, addition of LeBron, without Clay, though. Like, where's Clay in this whole...
Oh, I think the Mavericks might buy out Clay.
Oh, yeah. I think
and Clay would go sign a minimum with the Warriors.
His little sailor hat.
Right?
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the ball.
I don't think the Mavericks are in, like, cap... like awful situation, but if no one's gonna send Clay anything, they'll just buy him out.
Hell yeah. What's Chris Paul doing? Let's get the banana boat. And just get the banana boat.
They've already done that in Golden State.
Do it again.
They could do AI under the Golden State Bridge with the banana boat.
See?
Yeah.
A little more cold there.
Yeah, I mean they could be in
Carmelo Anthony
Scuba
retired
suits.
like 8 years ago, and they're still playing. It's so crazy.
Think of the postcards they could do, like you're at Alcatraz.
This is going to be insane.
Senior night out at the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my gosh.
I still like. You don't think LeBron is like lowering himself by being like, oh, Kevin Durant joined the Warriors and now LeBron's going to go join the Warriors? Like Steph wins. If you do this, Steph.
Yes.
Like,
but I think he wants to play with Steph. LeBron is done everything that you can possibly do in this league. LeBron has accomplished everything. There is nothing that can be taken away from LeBron James because he went to Miami and he won there with that big three. He went back to Cleveland, won there, went to LA and won a bubble title with Mickey Mouse on it. Like, he's gone everywhere and done everything with different teams to where, to answer your question, I don't think it tarnishes or puts any sort of damper on his legacy at all to go and play with his arch rival in Steph Curry after we saw and enjoyed and loved so much them playing together on Team USA. That was so much fun for everybody. So to do that for one more year at the end of your career.
It'll look different, Matt.
Well, of course it'll look different.
Yeah, no, this is his Jordan Wizards. Like, of course it's not a clean exit for...
No!
But I don't, like, is Jordan's reputation tarnished because he went to the Wizards?
No, it's not tarnished.
But it's these guys who... LeBron wants to keep playing, is what I'm concluding. And this is the best of not great options he has in order to continue playing.
LeBron James made Space Jam 2. There's nothing worse that he could do. Listen, he's an entertainer. This is the most entertaining thing that he could do while making good money, playing with his buddies, selling a crap ton of jerseys. It's brilliant.
Well, what I will say is, like, look, if I'm LeBron James, I I do what you want, man. I mean, he's, like you said, he's accomplished pretty much everything. He's won championships with different teams. He's played with his damn son.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
It's insane. And so what I will say is I would not fault LeBron for going and then just doing what's left on my checklist. Here, just a second. It's at the
Play
bottom.
with Steph.
Oh, play with Steph. Okay. Have fun, whatever. Why not?
Go out enjoying
Why
the
not?
game and
I'd like to
having fun.
play basketball with my best friend, too, to end my career.
Their jersey patch, the sponsored jersey patch.
Wait.
It's just a life alert button.
What if it was like, those two little hands together, like the whatever cares or whatever?
Yes, I know what you mean. That's so crazy.
Dude, they
Terrible.
have endless endorsements.
Oh, it'd be wonderful.
Oh,
endless.
If they lean into
wonderful.
it, I would have so much respect. So much respect if they leaned into the
It'd be
joke.
wonderful. It'd be so good. And I think that team would be good. Are they going to win anything? No. They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to lose in the first round, but everybody's going to be locked in. And literally out of their 82 games, I'm telling you, 50 of them would be on national TV minimum.
Yeah, I think in all honesty, I think it would just be waiting to see how healthy and how long that lasted. That's the thing that you'd be waiting.
Some good old-fashioned fun. It's a game. Let's have fun.
By the way, Norway is up in this game.
Yay, Norway.
1-0.
We'll take the break. When we come back, let's react to some of the things that Scott Perry said on the morning show. Plus, Mark Spears said that the Kings are interested in Kuminga. Sam Amick said that the Kings are not pursuing Kuminga. We'll kind of get to the bottom of what both sides are hearing and the Kings' involvement in the Kuminga sweepstakes, if there even is any involvement. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The top young talent in the NBA is headed to Sacramento this summer for the 8th annual California Classic presented by Ticketmaster. The Kings will host the Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets, and Golden State Warriors in a preseason showcase that's sure to bring more fireworks to your 4th of July weekend. 3-day general admission passes for July 4th, 5th, and 6th are available now. Visit kings.com/California Classic for details.
Your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Sactown Sports 1140.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My buddy dies. I show up to the funeral. Open casket. We're still doing that? I've never understood open casket. I don't get it. It's like, you told me he was dead. I believed you.
From the Monday Morning Podcast, his hit film Old Dads, and his latest Grammy-nominated special on Hulu, comedian Bill Burr, coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, July 25th, with all new material. Get tickets at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Bill Burr.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask like 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Sacramento Kings general manager Scott Perry took a break from cooking to appear on the morning show this morning, just about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago, with Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. Really good conversation as always. Scott Perry is cooking. Wow. Ah! Thank you.
Oh.
Thanks. Yeah, that's how the show started today. I was just so excited, man. So excited.
Now we have carrots. We didn't have them to start the show, so can't blame it on that.
Scott said a number of things on the morning show this morning, including talking about Darius Acuff Jr., and I wrote down verbatim what he said. He said, quote, "We really felt Darius was the ideal fit for us because he had the best combination of playmaking and the ability to score." Mm-hmm. Scott has said on a number of occasions, including this morning, that he believes that the Kings got the best point guard in the draft. And he also, of course, was asked about Darius Acuff's defense. This I didn't write down verbatim, Kayla, but, well, then I'll toss it to you because he referenced a lot of college basketball players with high offensive work rates not necessarily being asked to do a lot on the defensive end of the floor, how that's common in college basketball and doesn't necessarily dictate who you're going to be as a defender at the NBA level.
The reason why I found that interesting, and I believe Dave asked the question, I can't remember, but it's been asked so many times to Darius and Scott.
Sure.
This was along the lines of when we, were trying to continue our pursuit of Acuff on our own show, which we've been very high on him from the jump. Mm-hmm. The questions were popped up to us, and we discussed what we felt about his defense. I'm not a college coach and whatever, but my first answer to this was always like, have you seen how competitive this young man is? Mm-hmm. Have you seen that he wasn't asked to necessarily do that and put emphasis on that at Arkansas? And then Cal came out and said that. Mm-hmm. But the belief that he wants to be the best at whatever he does, mm-hmm. and he's not going to look like a fool out there in terms of like letting his defense just fall to the wayside in the NBA, that made me feel comfortable about it. And that's exactly what Scott Perry said. He says he hasn't been asked to do as much work in college in terms of that end of the ball. He said, highly competitive young man. That's what helps. He wants to take on the challenge, has the athletic traits, moves well laterally.
Yeah, I wrote down he will not want to be recognized as a weak link on that end.
Yep.
He also singled out his athleticism, his wingspan, and his competitiveness as to reasons why the Kings are optimistic that he'll be a better defender in the NBA. So I don't, and I'm not saying this is you at all, Kayla, I do not blindly subscribe to this way of thinking. I subscribe to a piece of it. I subscribe to the belief that who you are in college as a defender is not an end-all, be-all reflection of who you're going to be in the NBA. I completely subscribe to that. I don't think that, like, what we saw from Darius Acuff as a defender at Arkansas is not going to be automatically what he is at the NBA level. Mm-hmm. I still do not fully subscribe to this belief or to the theory that Acuff didn't play defense at Arkansas because he was asked not to. Like, I just don't fully...
Yeah, I think that's a little strong. Like, I don't think he was told, like, don't play defense.
Right, but, I like, at the NBA level, he's now going to be playing against players, grown men that are faster, better, more athletic, more gifted, better shooters than he's ever played before. So expecting him to now I care about defense at the highest freaking level at a position, being the starting point guard, that you are defending the point of attack, or in theory are going to be defending the point of attack every possession. Like, I don't just subscribe to his willingness to try is going to lead to great improvement. That being said, again, I go back to my original point. It is not accurate at all to write off him as an NBA defender and suggest that a 19-year-old is not going to improve based off of one season at Arkansas where he was asked to be the offense of the Razorbacks.
Yeah, and I'm not asking him to be a great defender.
Of course.
I don't think that that's realistic.
Of course.
To be better than what he was in college, yeah, I think he will be. It's not going to happen at the snap of a finger.
Right.
It's going to take this California Classic, the NBA Summer League, off-season work. You heard Scott emphasize getting in the best shape possible. You can guarantee that is on the list of these rookies as well, as they need to get as in shape as they can for the start of the season. And then with Doug incorporated in this, who specializes, at least that is what he has made clear, in defense, I think with those things combined, I think we'll see a very good jump with Acuff's defense throughout the season. I think it will get better.
Yeah.
And that's solely because I just feel he has that drive in him when that is something that's emphasized going into the year, that you have to get better.
Right.
He's going to get better.
I
It's
agree.
just a matter of what level. Excellent, great, probably not.
Yeah.
Good. I could see eventually at the end of the year it becoming that.
Perry also brought up in the interview today and during his press conference yesterday the expectation of an extreme level of conditioning. Like, you're going to be a better defender simply because you're going to be better conditioned than everybody. So while you're running them ragged on the offensive end of the floor, defensively, you're still going to have some left in the tank to be that point of attack defender. The way that I look at it is this. I know comparing Acuff to a Jalen Brunson who just won a title and was the finals MVP, and a Steph Curry who's the greatest shooter of all time. I know those are the exceptions to the rule, and I understand that. The Kings, I think, believe that he has the star potential to be Dame Lillard for the Sacramento Kings. Great. Dame's the same way. Can you be enough defensively to where it does not take away from what you provide offensively? And there are so many players in this league that are exactly like that. And then there are also players on another tier. Luka Doncic doesn't play a lick of freaking defense, but his offense is so good it doesn't matter. James Harden has made a career out of not giving a damn defensively. I think Acuff is going to care more defensively than both of those guys. But both of those guys are so offensively gifted that you can move past it and look past it. Like, it is so hard to find the perfect, well-rounded player. And most of the time, those well-rounded players, those guys that can defend and shoot, are 3-and-D role players, not necessarily superstars, unless it's a Kawhi Leonard that comes through the door, which those are not always easy to find, right? Even Kevin Durant at times, even though he's long, Kevin Durant has not necessarily been known as a lockdown defender, although he can defend because of the length that he has. Right, so it's a realistic expectation for the Kings to expect Darius Acuff Jr. to get better, but Darius Acuff Jr. does not have to be a good defender in the NBA to be a superstar, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I also thought, I wrote this down too, and we'll react to more of what Scott Perry said as the day goes on. But did you catch, he said this towards the end of the interview when talking about the veterans. He said, our veterans, we expect to come back and play at a high level and be totally bought into what we are doing here. I'm not saying he's specifically talking about Zach or Domas or anybody, but the expectation for the veterans are clear. You're bought into what we're doing. If you're back here, you're playing at a high level, and you're bought into what we're doing. And if you're not, then you're probably not going to be, you're definitely not going to be a part of what we're doing here. So I like that from Perry as well. We'll take the break. When we come back, in addition to how fun the Sacramento Kings draft has been, the San Jose Sharks had a hell of a draft,
Yeah,
too.
they did. Dude.
And Brody Brazil, our friend who covers the San Jose Sharks very, very closely, he's going to be joining us next to talk for a few minutes about that San Jose Sharks draft and the haul that they got, especially in the first round, before we transition to some new free agency notes from the Stein line about Russell Westbrook potentially having a suitor outside of Sacramento, and some notes about the Kings involving Precious Achiuwa and Daquan Plowden. That's all still to come here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
Like and subscribe to the Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel at Sactown Sports 1140 to get the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt and Kayla, and the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on demand and at your fingertips. Get your fix of the Sacramento Kings, 49ers, Giants, Athletics, NFL, NBA, and the latest in sports and entertainment all in one place at Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, $1 million hole-in-one, a skins game, a celebrity draft party, and a concert featuring the Cripple Creek Band. The Gold Rush Classic raises money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, First Tee of Sacramento, Rancho Murrieta Youth Sports, and other worthwhile children's charities. The Gold Rush Classic takes place August 6th and 7th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun, raise money for charity, and play golf with a celebrity like Barnes, Fernandez, Jackson, Lloyd, Merriweather, Ostertag, Polanese, Sharp, Schumann, or our own Greg Vaughn. Golf and concert sponsorship are still available at goldrushclassic.org. That's goldrushclassic.org. The Gold Rush Classic is sponsored by Guzetta Jewelers, Roseville's premier jewelry store. They've got you covered for any occasion.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
As we roll into summer, there's a new opportunity for you to get a new truck at a great monthly payment at Folsom Chevrolet. At Folsom Chevy, they're now offering 0% financing for 5 years on every new 2026 Silverado half-ton in stock. 0% financing on a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, LT, RST, High Country, you name it. Together, let's drive. Must finance with GM on approved credit, $16.67 per 1,000 finance. Cannot be combined with other offers. Ends July 7, 2026.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
We'll get back to Sacramento Kings talk in just a little bit here because there are some new free agency notes from Mark Stein and Jake Fisher of the Stein line involving Russell Westbrook, but not to the Sacramento Kings. There are some notes involving the Kings and their interest in Precious Achiuwa and a fan favorite based off how he played at the end of last year, Daquan Plowden. We also learned yesterday, I think it was Keith Smith that reported, that the Sacramento Kings are not picking up their team option for Killian Hayes. So no more Killian Hayes here in Sacramento. They did a little bit of an experiment with that. Did not go the Killian Hayes route. Well, again, we'll get back to Kings talk in just a little bit. But in addition to the exciting draft that the Sacramento Kings had just down the road, the San Jose Sharks had one hell of a draft night, especially in the first round. How about 3 first-round picks for the Sharks, including Ivar Stenberg with the 2nd overall pick? And to tell us more about that, fresh off of doing, as he told me, 20 player interviews yesterday.
Look at that.
I'm amazed Brody Brazil still has a voice, but he does, and he's with us now. Brody, I told you, now you get to answer the questions, not ask them, so I hope that's a little bit easier for you.
There was a security guard watching us do the interviews yesterday, and by the time we were wrapping up and putting the equipment away, he comes over to me and goes, "I don't know how you have so much energy, because you were just like doing your thing for 4 straight hours with person after person." And yeah, I was kind of driving home thinking, have I ever interviewed 20 people in one day in one setting before? So no, it's development camp going on at TechCU Arena where the Barracuda play, and so all of the draft picks and all of the prospects, a lot of the prospects from the organization come in just for these couple days, and they'll have a scrimmage on Thursday that's open to the public. And so it's the chance for the organization to get a little bit hands-on with the kids, because a lot of them, they go play in college or other places. They've been drafted, but they're not around the Sharks. So this is kind of the opportunity to be hands-on with them. So it's always fun, and their eyes are always wide open. It's a really cool week, in addition to great for the fans to kind of see who the newest players are.
Brody, we are experiencing right now in Sacramento how one draft can revitalize a fan base a little bit. There's a renewed hope, a renewed interest with the Sacramento Kings. The Sharks, you guys experienced that, of course, with Macklin Celebrini, and now you're adding on top of that with the second overall pick of Ivar Stenberg, one of 3 first rounders, including the 9th overall pick. Tell me about this draft haul for the Sharks and all the reinforcements that just joined one of the most, if not the most exciting young team in the NHL.
I know what you're saying about how one draft can do it, and we kind of had that, with the 4th overall pick in 23 and got Will Smith. And then 24 had a first overall pick and got Macklin Celebrini. The year after that, 2nd overall pick with Michael Misa, and to your point, another 2nd overall pick this year when the Sharks won the draft lottery and got that spot. It was just unbelievable. So to get Stenberg, he's 18. He's been playing all his hockey in Sweden his entire life. And I think for him, it's just going to be a lot of things, because he could instantly go to the NHL and be on the Sharks this season. For Keaton Verhoff, who was the 9th overall pick, and for Ryan Lynn, who we'll talk about in just a second, he was 21st overall. Those are the 3 first rounders. Verhoff has already got his situation set for next season, and Ryan Lynn's going to be headed to Denver play college hockey next year. So it's a lot of people looking at Stenberg saying he could have even been a number 1. That's how lucky the Sharks were. Gavin McKenna was ultimately number 1 and went to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But, there was kind of the consensus number 1, but a lot of people would tell you that Stenberg could have also been a number 1. So Sharks are lucky to get him. He's very focused. His brother's already in the NHL with the St. Louis organization. A lot of people are looking forward to, him. And there was the question of, hey, well, San Jose has so many forward prospects, and Stenberg's obviously a forward. So would you go with a forward overall, or would you take the absolute best defensive player you could at that position? And Mike Greer, kind of stuck to his guns and said, we picked the best player available. They did it as a forward. But then what they did was back it up with Keaton Verhoff as the 9th overall pick, one of the top defenders in the draft. And then at 21st, taking Ryan Lynn, also a defenseman, played most of his hockey growing up in Vancouver. So it was a great draft. I think Verhoff and Lynn could have gone even higher. They were respective steals. And, for what it's worth, to see the draft grades come out afterwards. And you knew that the Sharks would be – you knew they would be praised, but ESPN gave the Sharks an 8++. Yeah. Is that even possible?
Yeah. That's incredible. I've been looking. I was looking at the draft grades and I saw A++. I was like, is this a typo? Like,
I know, right?
We never see
these,
right? We never see these types of grades. When it comes to Ivar Stenberg and just immediate, what you expect out of this young man immediately, what's the timeline for him? And in terms of the line that you want to put him with, do you see him with the Celebrini?
Yeah, this is like the best Sharks fan conversation right now, because we could chew on this for like hours and there's debate about it among it, because are you the type who wants to keep a lot of coaches and teams and even players like to be put in pairs, and so that third player on a line can change, but it's like always Smith and Celebrini, like let's say on a top line. So do you put as a winger, is Stenberg their winger all of a sudden? Or Igor Chernyshov last year was such a great debut into the NHL. I like him up there. A lot of people think that maybe Stenberg on a Michael Misa second line is it. And that's not even to mention, the amount of players the Sharks have that are top 6 quality forwards, but there's not going to be enough space. The competition all of a sudden in this camp and coming into training camp this year is going to be tremendous for spots. I mean, some things are given, but there's going to be some good competition for spots to be earned. And I think, Stenberg is kind of in that mix, right, of where will he land, what will the coaching staff see. It's not a guarantee, by the way, that he'll go straight to the NHL, but I do think that that's kind of the expectation, and nobody wants to rush him in or make him feel bad if he's not ready in October or September. I mean, let's just say that maybe he's November or December and he's ready, and that's when they go for it. But I do think at some point next season you're going to see a lot of him, if it's not even immediately right out of the gate.
Brody Brazil joining us, talking San Jose Sharks hockey and their A++ draft they had, according to ESPN. Brody, I know in your entire career of covering sports, you've heard the cliche, it's a good problem to have for a coach, right? When you have so much talent on your roster and you have to figure out how to fit everything in. But have you gotten the opportunity to speak at all or hear it all from head coach Ryan Warsofsky and just the Sharks organization in total about balancing a team that's ready to make a leap and build upon the exciting year they had last year to get back into the playoffs and make some noise in the Stanley Cup playoffs, while also trying to incorporate these young players that you just drafted, because you don't want to leave them behind. You need to focus on their development, but you also can't hold the team back if they're ready to make a leap. That's such a delicate balance for coaches and organizations to figure out. How do you think the Sharks will handle that element?
Two parts about it. Let me start on Mike Greer for just a second, because from more of the personnel decision-making department, like that's him, right? I mean, he's deciding who to draft and who to offer contracts to and how to shape the roster. Ryan Warsofsky at that point is going to say, how do I deal with the roster? And that is important, and I'll get to that in a second. But I also had the realization over the weekend that, I remember Mike Greer as a player. In fact, his last year on the Sharks was just before my first year of officially covering the team in a working capacity. So I just missed him as covering him as a player, but I remember him being around a little bit, and it's amazing that he has jumped into never having been a general manager of an NHL team or any team before. And the way he has been cooking, as the kids say, they call him Chef Greer for a lot of things, not just this draft, but I think to the point now, and I think what you were alluding to is, he's not only drafting now for the best players, but they do a lot of real personality, I don't want to say checks, but research on, like Stenberg before they draft him, or Verhoff, or Ryan Lynn, or Brady Noling, or Jake Gustafson, or Alexander Karmenov. All these players that were drafted, they do a lot. They want to make sure that not only are you a good player, but you're going to fit what we have here. Because a couple years ago, it kind of didn't matter what the Sharks had intact already. And whether that was the right pieces, the personality, the chemistry. Now there's something that's been established over the last season or two. And I do believe it starts with Macklin and as kind of the backbone of it. So that's one part of it. The other part, to your point about Ryan Warsofsky, is that there has to be an organizational effort of, okay, are we going to try and accelerate this even more? The franchise is already way ahead of where a lot of people thought it might be. And Macklin's been a huge part of that. And the rebuild is going quicker than most would have expected, in a great way. But now, do we want to pour fuel on that fire? And I will also tell you that the free agency period opens up in the NHL tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And it's not just about having a good draft for the Sharks. I think whatever happens and whatever's possible in free agency, I still think this team is looking for more reinforcements on the blue line. That's also going to be huge. But going back to the head coach, he has a large hand in making sure that these young players are still developing, still hungry, still loving the situation. He's kind of more of a facilitator now of all these pieces. And I think with sometimes you would say that's any coach's dream, to come in and instantly get, the group that he's got and the young group and the promise of them. And but I also think he's going to start, feeling the pressure this year of this team. And he's already, he already wanted to make the playoffs last year. There's going to be some pressure of, okay, now it's time to produce the results. And so I know that, I spoke to him, I guess it's been 2+ weeks ago, but, he's absolutely excited about what's to come. And I think he's got a really good handle on it. So it's not a situation of, I hope this works out. I think for him, it's a matter of, can I really use all the best strategy in the world to keep this team going in the right direction? because it's I don't want to say it's a curse, but it's definitely a gift that comes with some pressure of the situation he's in.
Brody Brazil, we're talking San Jose Sharks. Go get your teal now, folks. I mean, I'm telling you, this team is going to be even more exciting than next season. Brody, I got to dig up my brother's first ever starter jacket because I know it's somewhere in the garage. That was one of my favorite starter jackets. But in terms of this draft, we don't usually talk about a 7th round pick. But you mentioned Alexander Karmenov, the defenseman coming out of the OHL. This guy is 7'1" without skates on. I believe, is he the tallest to be drafted?
Yes.
Tell me about this young man.
Well, I also took a picture with him yesterday by request on social media because as soon as I saw who we drafted, I knew what the commentary was going to be on my mentions, and that was, hey, you're short, so take a picture next to the tallest guy ever. He is 7'1". He's from Moldova, so he's the tallest player ever drafted into the NHL. And he's the first player from the country of Moldova, which I did go back and double check on the map where it's at and all that stuff. It's a small country, 2 million people. Like I said, first ever player from there. He could be the nicest guy. And I think somebody said in the comments on the photo, gentle giant. And I was like, you know what? That was exactly it. He was so just polite, and you can tell English is obviously his second language, but so good at it. And I just connected with him, really did. And he's a guy that, because he's so tall, he needs to have a 70-inch custom stick, custom shoulder pads, custom everything, because he's too big, for the prototype player. So the real question is, and he's got his track laid out. He's going to play another year in the OHL, and then he's going to go play at Penn State after that. He's really got the next 2 seasons lined up. Just watching him skate a little bit, he's got Zdeno Chara-like features. I think he's still a little bit of a project. It would be pretty imposing to be on the rush and look up and see somebody, 7'1" without skates on. So I would imagine he's at least 7'4" with skates on. It's a real question, though. When you're that tall, you're almost at a little bit of a disadvantage on speed and everything. You've got reach to your benefit. You've got size and physicality, but he's got a lot of developing to do. We'll see if he can, parlay that. But man, it would be, they took him the 7th round, I would say, for a reason, both ways. Number one, because, it was a lower round and maybe less risk, but they don't waste any picks. So I certainly hope we can see him as a Shark one day. That would be more than entertaining.
Is there anyone on the planet that's squaring up to fight that dude? Is there anybody? I'm and it's going to be some 5'6" guy who just doesn't care. He's just
right.
Fine, I'll take on the challenge. But
it's going to be almost like a cartoon where all he has to do is put his hand out.
Right, exactly.
Reach.
I'm just saying.
He is so tall, so imposing. I can't even say the 2 words I said when I saw him in person for the first time. It was but also I would say his demeanor. I can't say I know him on the ice, how his personality is, but just in my, 10 minutes of chatting with him, man, just seems like he wouldn't harm a thing. But I know he's competitive on the ice. So no, it would be interesting.
If a 7'1" guy is skating full speed at me, I'm just lying down. You take the puck. I'm lying down. Just go past me. Don't hurt me.
Stand in front of the goal. You put a goalie and him there side by side. You have no way of getting a shot.
Good point there. Last thing I have for you, Brody, we appreciate you taking the time.
I might squeeze one more.
Yeah, please. What separates in all sports, the great general managers, is their ability to find those diamond in the rough talents in the later rounds. So you've obviously talked a lot about Alexander, but from Brady Noling in the 4th round to Jake Gustafsson in the 6th round, what do you think about those 2 picks specifically, and also the Sharks' ability to identify this later round talent that could sneak in to become the steal of the draft one day when we look back on the 2026 draft?
Yeah, and I think the one Shark I'll always remember is Joe Pavelski. Well, first off, there have been several Sharks over the years that were never drafted, and even Colin Graff on the team right now, and Kiefer Sherwood never drafted into the NHL. So it just goes to show you that we could pump up the draft all we want. Some picks don't pan out, and I don't want to name names, but I know Sharks prospects over the years that their names were high, and then they kind of faded away, and it's just nobody's fault. That's just how it works out. I think the lower round picks are always going to be important, and Pavelski was a 7th rounder who turned out to be the team's captain and represent the United States in Olympic hockey. So with Nolan, I think you're getting a goaltender that somehow slipped to the Sharks. I don't know how they were lucky enough to get him when they drafted him. His dad was a goalie growing up, and initially Brady wasn't, and got frustrated like on his house league team level and said, I think I want to be a goalie. He's going to go play at Saginaw in the OHL, and then he's going to go play at Boston University after that. So he's got his next 2 years lined up. He's played for Team USA a couple different occasions now. So I think, and goalies are an interesting proposition because when you draft them, you need to have room to give them playing time. You don't want to have your pipeline become overcrowded with goalies because there's just not enough opportunity. They need starts. They need opportunities to play. So he'll definitely get that. With Jake is an interesting story. His dad, John Gustafson, actually works for the Sharks and former pro hockey player. He played for the roller hockey team in San Jose in 1993, the San Jose Rhinos, which I know like a small fraction of your audience will even remember that. But it was special because, Jake was on the board and also kind of slipped a little bit, and the Sharks were there. Jake went to Bellarmine College Prep here in San Jose and was a junior Shark. And so for the Sharks to be able to draft him, super special. I mean, he's going to go to Colorado College, needs a couple more years of development. But again, the Sharks are not in a position to be doing charity things and favors. They're drafting really good players. So, and then we talked about Karmanov a little bit. So I think those three, and first off, this was a draft that was supposed to produce at first 7 players, then 6 players, and then 8 players for the Sharks, but they traded a couple picks away to move up and get Ryan Lynn.
Yeah.
But 6 ultimate players, I know that we're always going to talk about the 3 first rounders, right? And I got a pretty good feeling that you will see all 3 of them as Sharks. I certainly hope that 2 out of the other 3 that you would also see because the Sharks have done their diligence and got the right people.
Brody, 2 more quick ones for me. I've got to get in our guy, Dwayne Baker. He's a die-hard San Jose Sharks fan. He's in our chat every day. He just
Shout out Dwayne.
I know he loves when we talk Sharks. So we're giving him a special segment today. He asked, first of all, do we need a more established goalie to be able to go deep into the playoffs this next season? And then I want to ask you, do you think it's realistic you guys could bring over Zach Werenski from the Blue Jackets?
The number 2 one, maybe we'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, I'm praying for y'all.
Trade deadline is the crazy day. It's kind of cool that I can say all this stuff out in the wide open because I also stay away from Mike Greer's office, So if it's one of those things when you're in the circle and if you know anything, you can't say anything. I don't know anything, but I've been seeing what everybody else is suggesting. I think the Sharks are out to go a little big game hunting here in free agency. Yeah. Again, who your team is, what your backbone is, what you're all about. It's kind of like, okay, so why would I go buy nice furniture if I'm still maybe renting, versus, okay, I own this house. I'm going to live here for a long time. Now let's go buy the furniture because I know where it's going to fit and it makes a lot more sense. So with Werenski and anybody else that's the Richardsons, I mean, it's a lot of players out there and their names are being mentioned. I get it. I don't know. I can't guarantee anything, but I definitely think that the Sharks are more likely to pull off a big swing now than any other time. As for goaltending, I think last year was Yaroslav Askarov's first full season kind of in that role in the NHL, and he had a really good November. And I think in the second half of the season, maybe Alex Nedeljkovic was the better of the two, performance and results-wise. But I think that's in the same way that Sam Dickinson came up last year and played all last season as a rookie. It's when you're not a forward, when you're a defenseman or a goalie, it's hard to break in because you're the last line of defense. And when you make a mistake, it's almost always capitalized on. Versus a forward makes a mistake, well, there's 200 feet between you and the goal, so or less. So I want to give Askey some time. I think this upcoming season is not only big for him to complete it start to finish and hopefully stay healthy, but have a really good step forward season. They've got high hopes for him. Look, there are some other goalies too in the pipeline, but I don't even really want to go that far yet. I think the trade or the acquisition they made for Askarov a couple years ago and the way they did that, it was really a steal from Nashville. So I think he's the guy. I just think it's way too early to judge on that yet. But I do think that is an interesting piece that a lot of people omit You could talk about how forward heavy the team is and how the need is still for stable defensemen, but I do think the goaltending, it's more than a third of building your team, even though it's just one or two guys.
Brody, we appreciate you taking the time. Go rest that voice and keep up your great coverage that we take for granted to get us through this long off season. Sharks hockey will be back before we know it, and I know fans appreciate your coverage and your content to help kill the time. So thank you for taking the time here with us today.
Who do you think edits all those interviews? I'm literally going to put the phone down and start editing 20 interviews. So here we go.
You got this, Brody.
Great. Thank you. Great to be on with you guys. I'll talk soon.
The great Brody Brazil. Looking
He's so
forward
awesome.
to talking Sharks hockey with him in the near future.
I get so excited when he talks hockey because I'm like, I don't get to talk it that often. And he's so knowledgeable, obviously with the Sharks, but he's just been around the game for a while. So it's fun and exciting to think about down the road. You could have a really, really competitive team again this year.
I'm not hating on the summer or anything like that. Loving the summertime, loving the summer golf and the baseball and all that. But we just got to get ourselves to late fall, early winter when football's in full swing. Kings season's getting started. Sharks hockey's getting started. We'll have playoff and World Series baseball too. It's the best time of the year for a reason, and the Sharks are going to be a major part of that when they return as well. So looking forward to talking more Sharks hockey in the future with Brody Brazil. Getting back to the Kings really quick before we take the break, a couple free agency notes from the Stein line and Jake Fisher. Apparently, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Kings late last season played a game with against the Utah Jazz here in Utah, and AJ DeBonso was sitting courtside.
Yeah.
And AJ and Russell Westbrook got together and took a picture in the locker room, spent some time together. Well, they might be teammates.
I saw
Because
this.
apparently the Wizards have a, quote, level of interest in bringing Russell Westbrook in D.C. to, I assume, be Trae Young's backup, I'd imagine. I don't think they'll play the two of them together. But hey, it sounds like Russell Westbrook might have a suitor that's not Sacramento. And remember, while this is not intended to be an insult, this is what was reported. The Kings largely brought Russell Westbrook in because there wasn't a ton of interest anywhere else. Now that there is more interest, it might significantly lessen the Kings' opportunity to retain him if they still wanted to.
Let me put this out here. I don't know how much the Wizards would be giving him because I don't think it's anything crazy, right?
I imagine it's probably league minimum.
Yeah.
It's a minimum deal.
Again, so you can have another team interested, but it's like, what is it? It's going to be league minimum. I'm assuming Russ wants to be on the most competitive team he can be on. But again, I think he really liked it here. I know he really likes Scott Perry. Scott Perry thinks highly of him. If you were to pick, you think you assume right away he'd go Wizards.
If he had to choose between the two?
Just for the winning part?
I think so.
I'd imagine. I mean, he's going to have the opportunity to play more meaningful basketball. And while I do believe Russ, I don't think Russ had an issue with his time here in Sacramento whatsoever. From all signs point to, he enjoyed Sacramento. He enjoyed the community. He enjoyed the fans. It's California. He's going to have the opportunity to play, I believe, much more meaningful basketball in Washington. And while Russ will be a mentor per se everywhere he goes because of just who he is and where he's at in his career, Sacramento. If Russ returns to Sacramento, which I just don't think is happening at this point, but if it were to happen, Russ is damn near a player coach. In Washington, I think you could look at Russ as a 6th, 7th man backup point guard to Trae Young, who helps that team make a playoff run in the East. I think that's far more enticing if I'm Russ.
Yeah,
he's
and
replacing
Trae Young
Bob
that
Carrington.
Yeah, and Trae also has had injury history. So.
Right. You'll get some run.
Yeah.
You will get some run, and you get to play with the boy that the
guy. The
boy.
That little boy.
His boy AJ DeBonsa, who he connected with in Utah when the Kings were there earlier in the season. So apparently Russell Westbrook might be headed to DC to play with the Wizards. Another note that was snuck in here in this latest report or free agency news roundup, and shout out Kyle for finding this. Sacramento intends to re-sign Precious Achiuwa, which I think we all saw coming. We've heard reports about this. I know James Hammond talked a lot about this. And we've heard, just how Precious has continued to carry himself from doing an interview with the Bean Boys back at the beginning of the offseason to being, like we heard in the rookie press conference yesterday from Alex Caravan, I believe, that Precious immediately reached out and talked to him as if he's already on the team and is going to be his teammate. So all signs point to, and we know how much how good he talked about the Sacramento Kings during his exit interviews.
I love that. All
signs point to Precious is sticking around, and I love that based off the year that he had.
I do, because it's like I don't know what the money is for him, and he could be he was looking at another team that maybe offered him a little more, maybe didn't. But the fact of the matter is if he signs here, I do truly believe it's because he wanted to be back. And it says something, right? I mean, look, he lit the fire underneath him for sure last season, but I'd be happy if he did sign.
Just a reminder, Precious Achiuwa started last season on the couch. He did not have a team. The Kings,
which there's still, by the way, Matt, I still feel like there is a story to that.
Well, he's talked about it.
He came out and said a little bit, but he's never really fully talked about like what situation was.
There seemed to be a little bit of a grudge maybe with whatever happened in New York with the Knicks, who, by the way, are also likely to lose Mitchell Robinson, it sounds like, too, and that's a pretty significant loss for them. I know the Kings were connected to Mitchell Robinson before because Scott Perry drafted him. I haven't heard anything more to suggest that, and especially if they go out and get Jalen Duren, I just don't see any reason for them to do it, and financially how they would do it. But the Kings started the season not having Precious Achiuwa on the roster, brought him in pretty quickly once Keegan Murray got hurt to start the season. He was paid $2.1 million last year, which I believe was a league minimum deal. Now, after the Devin Carter trade yesterday, the Kings are hovering right around that first apron. They saved themselves roughly $5 million in that salary dump move to the Atlanta Hawks. Assuming they stretch and waive or find a trade partner, but I don't think that's going to happen. Assuming they stretch and waive DeMar DeRozan, that will put them under the first apron, which then opens up their ability to use the mid-level exception, which is a roughly $15 million, something along those lines.
Not to get in the weeds, but yes, there's a non-taxpayer one and a taxpayer one. The non-taxpayer one is larger.
And you have to be underneath the first apron in order to have access to that. Once you get to the first apron, one of the penalties is you lose your access to that.
Sure.
So that, in theory, is a $15 million exception that they could just use and give to Precious. And, well, he played his way, I think, into a raise. Going from $2 million to $15 million, that's a pretty significant raise.
Hey, I'll take it.
If he were to get that. But could they also use that money to potentially go out and bring in Jonathan Kuminga? I guess that's always a possibility, too. We'll talk about that when we come back. Mark Spears, his report on the Kings being interested in Kuminga. Sam Amick had kind of a bit of a conflicting report. We'll get into the weeds on the Kuminga watch situation here in Sacramento now that he is an unrestricted free agent. And a little World Cup date for you. That's all still to come here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
Like and subscribe to the Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel at Sactown Sports 1140 to get the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt and Kayla, and the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on demand and at your fingertips. Get your fix of the Sacramento Kings, 49ers, Giants, Athletics, NFL, NBA, and the latest in sports and entertainment all in one place at Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the Buffalo wing. Perfect. Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too. Incredible. What a finish. Sensational combination. Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
We've seen every kind of golf swing, some smooth, some, let's just say, innovative. And that's why Hagen Oaks offers Total Game Fitting. The TrackMan-powered player performance studio shows what your swing is really doing. Ping's Ball-Nemic Ball Fitter finds a ball that behaves. The Hagen Oaks Putter Fitting Studio helps turn almost into yes. And FootJoy's 3D foot scanner builds stability from the ground up. At Hagen Oaks, we don't judge your game, we fix it. Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Better fit, more fun. Fulton Avenue at Business 80.
Everyone loves to be outside, and so do mosquitoes. Protect yourself against mosquitoes and West Nile virus by following these simple tips. At least once a week, look around your yard and drain stagnant water from any containers where mosquitoes can breed. Remember to use an effective mosquito repellent, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Close all doors and be sure screens are in good working condition. At the Mosquito and Vector Control District, we're here to help. Visit us at fightthebite.net.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older and you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
Country in the Park 2, presented by your California Army National Guard, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Russell Dickerson. Plus more. Enjoy line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bull, and food trucks. Tickets start at just $70. Country in the Park 2, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra, the California Office of Traffic Safety, and Caltrans. More info at CITPFest.com.
A.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
A little clarification here really quick. We're talking about the Kings' access to the mid-level exception if they get under the first apron and using that to go out and get Precious Achiuwa. The mid-level exception, non-taxpayers exception, taxpayers exemption, $15 million. That does not mean that it's a $15 million contract that you give out. The Kings do not have to give all $15 million to Precious Achiuwa to bring him back.
Okay.
They could technically split it between multiple players. If Precious wanted $8 million and they use the other, $7 million or whatever it is, to go out and get somebody else, like they could go that route as well. We're just talking from the perspective of the Kings would have $15 million to go out and use to bring Precious Achiuwa back, who I believe is the most likely top free agent target realistically that they have, given the financial situation that they're in. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, Jonathan Kuminga could work his way back into that conversation. Although Sam Amick seems to think differently or is reporting differently. Let me read these really quick. This is from Mark Spears yesterday. This is about 2:20 in the afternoon, so right after we got off the air. The Sacramento Kings had strong interest in Jonathan Kuminga before he was dealt from the Golden State Warriors to the Atlanta Hawks and are expected to be interested in him now as a free agent. But it would certainly come at a mammoth pay cut for JK to come to the Kings, as they would have only a $2.6 million minimum to offer. Now, that was before, I think, that is not taking into account if the Kings were to get under the first apron and have access to that mid-level exception. So that's what Mark reported. That was at 2:20. Then Sam, about an hour later, a little over an hour later at 3:37, when all this Duran stuff started coming out, said, on a related note, I'm told the Kings are not expected to pursue free agent forward Jonathan Kuminga. So
okay. So
I would imagine the Kings are going to keep an eye on what his market is, and if it's low, maybe they can use the relationship they built with him to get him at a bargain. But it doesn't sound like they're nearly going to be as aggressive for Kuminga this summer as they were last summer.
It's still an interest of Scott Perry's, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
It's not in the front of his book, but it's somewhere there in terms of, hey, reminder to check in on JK. In all seriousness, though, that's always a good thing that there was already an established relationship. The other thing that makes me, I do really wonder this, because remember, guys, rewind to last trade deadline, and no one was interested in Kuminga. I mean, they had little to no interest out there. The Kings were.
Kings and Suns. That
Yeah,
was pretty
the
much
Kings
it.
and Suns, and then I think the Suns kind of went away, and
They couldn't offer even close to what the Warriors wanted.
right, and they weren't going to really do business with the Kings because we all know what that is like.
Joe Lacob.
But there was a little bit of postseason play from Kuminga, and for the most part, he played fine. Was it enough to drum up more interest in terms of now a few months later? What would that price be? Like, what would people be willing to pay? I don't think it's increased greatly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be 5, 6, 7 teams out here.
If the Kings were to open up the mid-level exception and have that $15 million available to them, again, they get that by probably stretching and waiving DeMar and getting under the first apron. And that would suggest that maybe they do that sooner than later in order to open that up to go into free agency with access to that. We thought they might kick the can down the road to like August to handle that, but it might be in their best interest again to do it now with free agency beginning today at 3 o'clock. So we'll keep an eye on to see if anything happens with DeMar DeRozan going forward. Plus, give him the time that he needs to find his new home, which the Clippers are rumored to be interested. The Miami Heat make a lot of sense. If I were to tell you, okay, the Kings open that $15 million exception, you can use all $15 million of it to bring Jonathan Kuminga in, or you can use $8 million of it to bring Precious Achiuwa back, or maybe $6 million, $7 million, something like that. A pretty significant pay raise. Let's say $6-7 million, and then have the other half of it essentially to go out and get another role player, maybe a third string point guard, just somebody that might be out there to give you some depth. What is more enticing to fans / what makes the Sacramento Kings better? Because Whitey Gleason was talking about this yesterday. I thought Whitey brought up a good point. It's not that he was out completely on the idea of Jonathan Kuminga, but Kuminga is someone who feels he needs the ball in his hands more, and you just brought in a point guard who you're going to want the ball in their hands a lot. Plus, Zach LaVine is still here, and Zach LaVine's going to want the ball in their hands, so you could run into some issues with Jonathan Kuminga being here with the roster being as it stands.
Yeah, because the roster's different now from what it was even a year ago.
Right.
When they had extreme interest in Jonathan Kuminga. So that's a really good point. The other interesting thing is, I think there's always that, like, what could he look like if we put him in the right place? And, you know, if we had the vision, Scott Perry, I'm saying, of this is what it could be with Jonathan Kuminga. There's always that enticing part of Jonathan Kuminga, I feel, and still to that note. But at the same time, it is a different team. And I do feel like it's not like you're trying to win now in a way that could benefit you, because Kuminga could work his way into this organization. But Precious Achiuwa just fits so well here. And we saw that in his proven work. It's sometimes a fit just is a fit. And I side more, I think, now on just bringing Precious here, but it does entice me a little. Like, what could Jonathan Kuminga look like?
Yeah. There are 3 teams with straight-up cap space. That's Brooklyn, Chicago, and the Lakers. Not a ton, but they have cap space. Some of them have more than others. Brooklyn has a lot of cap space. And then there are a ton of teams with that non-tax mid-level, that $15 million non-tax mid-level exception. That's Atlanta, who decided to not bring Kuminga back or to not pick up his option. Boston, Charlotte, Dallas, Detroit, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Bucks, the Pelicans, the 76ers, the Blazers, San Antonio, Utah, and Washington. So if Kuminga's value is down, like we believe it's down from the $20 million player that he wanted to be, I think he was last summer, I think famously known to be seeking like $25 million. Like that, I think that ship has sailed.
I think the Kings offered 3 for $61 or something like that.
Something along those lines, right? But he's going to be probably a mid to high teens player. Well, and most likely he's going to be, in terms of the money that's available, a $15 million player. There are a lot of suitors out there that could potentially bring him in. So I think he's going to have more options and probably more interest at this level than he had last summer when the Warriors were shopping him and he was doing his thing. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up, but it's not going to be, I think, as clear of a path to him coming to Sacramento as it would have been last summer even. So going to be something to pay attention to and to follow. Really, really quickly before we break, should we do a quick World Cup date?
Oh, yeah.
Let's dive in, because while the NBA was drama-filled yesterday, the World Cup was plenty dramatic themselves. It was like a drama-off between these two.
Drama-off.
First off, Brazil came back and defeated Japan with a goal in stoppage time very late in the match to survive the Japanese, who took a 1-0 lead early on. So Brazil is still in, but superpower Germany is out. How about Paraguay beating them in penalties to advance? And that was not the only match that went to penalties yesterday. Morocco tied their match over the Netherlands in stoppage time. So the match looked like they were going to lose and be out. They tie the match in stoppage time, force penalties, and then win in penalties over the Netherlands. So shout out Morocco with a big win for them. Right now we have the Ivory Coast and Norway going at it. Norway had a 1-0 lead early, but Ivory Coast just recently equalized. There's only 10 minutes left in regular time in this match, so we'll keep an eye on that. Also today, France versus Sweden. That's a big match. Seeing Kylian Mbappe and France in action. I would argue France should be the favorites now based off of how they've been playing and how Spain struggled a little bit early. And Mexico is in action tonight. Their round of 32 match is against Ecuador. And friendly reminder, tomorrow at Levi Stadium, tomorrow night, USA will take on Bosnia in their round of 32 match. Plus England versus Congo tomorrow as well. So a lot of fun matches to look forward to this week. Nice quick World Cup date for you. We'll take the break, and let's come back with a little bit of a pick aside, including, I knew we were going to talk about this, Diana Rossini in the news for a completely different reason, finding a interesting way to get out of a speeding ticket. We'll talk about that and more when we return. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
After 2 seasons in Sacramento, the Kings have traded guard Devin Carter to the Atlanta Hawks. With other potential trade assets on the roster, could more offseason moves be coming from Scott Perry and the front office?
Your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. As many of you know, my song Winning Streak is about my own personal struggles with addiction. I first sought help for my addiction at 14 years old. Start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at ChooseChangeCA.org. The real you is worth recovering. Choose Change California provides access to proven treatment options for addiction to opioids and stimulants. ChooseChangeCA.org. This is your chance to recover your life.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer, and Associates.
When you have been injured by the fault of another, you will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust.
Along with my partner and associates, I have been helping accident survivors recover for their injuries for over 25 years.
And we can help you. There's no charge for calling, so please call us today.
When you get an injury, just call Gingery.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Gold Rush Classic is back and bigger than ever. August 6th and 7th in Rancho Murrieta, where the stars and guitars come out to play. Tee it up alongside legends, Hall of Famers Rick Barry, Tim Brown, Marshall Faulk, and Sterling Sharp. Plus fan favorites Reggie Theus, Olden Polynice, Fernandez, Lloyd Merriweather, Ostertag, and Greg Vaughn. Think you've got game? Take your shot at the $1 million hole-in-one. Step up to the Celebrity Challenge. Then, cap the night with an incredible farm-to-fork dinner and live concert under the stars, featuring the Cripple Creek Band. It's golf, it's music, it's an experience you don't want to miss. Proudly supported by Northern California Roofing, trusted since 1999. And Pace Supply. Streamline your supply, maximize your success. Sponsorships are available now. Visit goldrushclassic.org. That's goldrushclassic.org. We'll see you there.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Pick a side, any side. It's time for Pick a Side on Matt and Kayla.
Yes, indeed, it is time for Pick a Side. We got Kyle Ledbetter with us as always. Kyle, what we got today?
All right, first of all, you teased it before the break. Let's talk about the Diana Rossini.
Ugh.
They found, I think, an older video of her getting pulled over.
Well, everything's surfacing now. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing someone just searched in a public database, found a video of her getting pulled over for texting and driving, and then she name dropped, I think it was Kevin O'Connell, to try and, or did get out of it. But this very much was a viral clip. Does this go against journalistic code is the question.
Are you going to show it, the clip?
No, it's like 7 minutes
Oh,
long.
you can't. Okay.
Yeah. We could piece out just the parts of it, but it's a long clip.
I watched bits and pieces of it. I'll be honest with you. I'm so secondhand embarrassed by everything that has happened with her this year that I had to tap out. I was like, yeah, this is just, I don't like it.
I mean, coming from someone who literally went and got her degree in broadcast journalism, look, I know Diana. I knew her before, obviously, all this stuff happened. She was on our show. She was one of the most respected insiders in the NFL, period. So this is all crazy how fast it can happen and your career can, go down the tube. But with all this stuff resurfacing, doing something like that, it is crazy to me. To use your name, it is against journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
To use your name and to use your likeness and what you're connected to get it. But it's the cop's fault too.
Yeah, I was going to say,
he let her off the ticket.
Doesn't look great for the cop either to be so easily swayed out of doing your job because you happen to pull over an NFL insider that has a head coach's number.
By the way, I've never once gotten out of ticket. Cops hate me. They freaking hate me.
Oh boy.
I don't know why. I guess I give a sassy attitude vibe. But
when you got
cops
pulled over,
do not
especially.
like me.
This is multiple times?
Oh. I mean, in my as a kid,
as an adult.
I've never done anything crazy in a car, but
no, but
speeding ticket. Or
I'm just saying, if I asked Matt right now, how many times have you been pulled over for speeding?
I've never been pulled over for speeding.
That was the answer I was expecting.
Oh, well, in my life, 3 times.
Jeez.
That's not a
that was
lot.
That was less than you were making it sound like you had been pulled over. You're like, I keep trying,
well,
and I
I'm
just
not going to
can't.
get into other stories.
I've only been pulled over where I got a ticket once, and it was when I had an expired tag on one of my cars. It's the only
that's because
time.
we just can't afford any of that stuff.
Well, that's true too. Registration
Seriously,
prices are stupid.
it's like $500.
That was just laziness. I was like, I just don't want to do it. I had to get the car smogged, and I I was like, I just don't want to.
Which nowadays they won't even really pull you over anymore. They'll just kind of send you a letter.
Yeah.
But I have the only other times that I've been pulled over were when I had a headlight out or something, and
that's
they were like, yeah, you're
half
good.
the time you don't even know.
Yeah, you're good. I almost I got pulled over once because I went 50-50 on a yellow light, and I thought I could make it, and then I realized I wasn't gonna make it. So I did slam on my brakes, but I had to stop, and I went over the line a little bit, so I backed up, and there was a cop on the other side. So then this was nighttime, and then he pulled me over. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I was just trying to get home. Thought I could make it." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, just be smarter," and that was it. So I guess just don't give off Kayla vibes when you get pulled over, and you won't get a ticket.
Sorry.
Do you have
changing?
In your mind, are you being polite, or do you think you're
I'm never a diva. I mean, I'm not gonna be a diva, but I'm mad, and cops intimidate me. So I'm not gonna be intimidated. So I don't show the intimidation. I'm not oh my God, what?
Well, you know how you could just interact with them. Like
I am. I'm not ever rude. One time, Red saved me. He was a puppy. Now I was going.
Some people use their contact list in their phone. Other people use their
No.
dog.
Red was in the back seat, and he was like, "Oh, that's a cute puppy."
Exactly.
But I still got a ticket.
Oh.
But he didn't get you out of.
Well, I could have been in big. I went into La La Land, and I was like, it was like a straightaway in Nashville, like this little side road, and I was like.
So why are you mad?
No, because it could have.
If you were speeding, why are you mad?
No, she's saying it could have been worse.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like if you're getting pulled over, I get like it's annoying to get pulled over, of course. Especially it always happens when you have like somewhere to be too. But like, if you know you were speeding, why do you get mad? Because if I'm the way that's just like, yeah.
Well,
I'm
some
stupid,
of
I'm
it,
sorry.
a couple of the ones when I was like 17 or whatever in my neighborhood, I was barely I was like 5 over.
Oh yeah, that's not.
You know,
that's,
and so they pull me up. I'm 5 over the speed limit. I'm just going to go get a slushie down the road, and 2 of them surrounded me. One was on each side, like I'm some sort of criminal.
You are dangerous. You never know.
Yeah, and you get mad because if you just knew Kevin O'Connell and could name drop him, you wouldn't be getting this ticket.
Listen, I was driving to my meeting with the head coach of whoever the hell. See? Get me out of my ticket.
It's crazy though that happened.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. By the way,
I need dash cam footage or what is that called? The body cam footage.
Body cam.
Of Kayla getting pulled over just to see like what version of Kayla did the cop get. You probably intimidated the cop.
Oh
You know which version you got. Not sassy, but passive aggressive.
No denial.
No, I know Kayla well enough now to know what it would be like. By the way, Holland just scored to give Norway the lead.
Let's go, Norway!
Your
My
boys,
homeland.
Kayla.
I think that's like his 4th or 5th goal of the World
Have
Cup.
they not been the most fun fans though?
Scotland was pretty fun too,
Scotland.
but Norway's been very fun.
My Scottish
But
boys.
Norway, they're going to like all the games.
Yeah.
They were at Victor Hovland's win the other day.
I think it's called Viking Row is what they're calling it. Yeah, no, they've been
fun.
pretty
The
good.
Dutch fans have been fun too. The orange. They're
gone now.
See, Kimberly has had. Now, Kimberly's not as probably sassy as I am because Kimberly seems like a very nice person. Not that I'm not nice. I'm very nice. But she said, "Why did you do that?"
I didn't do anything.
Oh boy, Matt.
I didn't do anything.
Are you serious right now?
She's very nice. I'm baiting
What?
you. Not that I'm not nice. I'm very nice.
That was a dangerous game you're
Lord.
playing, Matt.
Come on, tell me how you really feel, Matt.
You are.
Come on.
I'm doing a bit, Kayla.
Come on now, Matt.
See, she deserves a ticket. I'm getting intimidated. She's pulling me over. Listen, I know my
goodness.
brown. Okay. I'll show you a text.
That's not doing you much in Sacramento anymore.
By the way, the cops that were really tough. It wasn't cops. Honestly, it was the cops back in my hometown of Spokane.
They were mean.
They were mean. Now there's been some background on them cops.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Don't worry about that. I know all the deets.
What is
my
happening?
friend from high school married a cop back in.
So you have the.
Do you
intel
name
now?
drop him to get out of a ticket?
No, because
Oh, we don't like
you
him.
never name drop a cop to get out of a ticket.
no comment.
I did have to go through one of the. I was completely sober, by the way. I love how this just turned into cop stories. I got pulled over.
By the way, love cops. It's in all seriousness. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, my neighbor's.
They do a lot of great stuff.
My neighbor's a cop, and he's great.
I'm just intimidated by some.
I once got pulled over when I was driving home from a River Cats game, and I had like 2 buddies of mine in the car, and we told them where they were coming from. Have you been drinking? No. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, this cop just suspected something, and I was driving and had me do the follow the light with your eyes.
Oh, you did the test?
Yeah, he just had just through the window, and I passed it because I was not at all intoxicated, or I didn't even have a beer. Like I barely drank at the time. But I was worried I was going to fail it because he was having me follow the light, and I had a low car. I had a Mercury Cougar at the time, these low cars.
Mercury, I love it.
It was a Mercury Cougar.
Yeah,
my first car.
I know what those are.
And he put the light out of above where I could see it in the window. It's like, it's in my blind spot, sir. I can't see it.
My
I'm going to
goodness.
fail. I don't know where the light went. But no, he was cool. He let me go.
Like, just give me a breathalyzer, all right?
Yeah.
Mason agrees. Spokane cops are different, for sure.
What is the deal with these Spokane
I told you,
They got a reputation?
I don't lie. I give transparent
Why is everyone like,
information.
oh yeah, man, I know about them?
Because it's a thing.
But you're
man.
not giving deets. Like, is it you can't give deets about what a Spokane cop is done?
Y'all,
different time?
just some stuff going on.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't been home in a while. Oh, Sean says that I get pulled over and I say, hey, I know Jason Ross. He's in my contacts.
That'll for sure get you out of a ticket.
Yep.
Everybody loves Jason Ross.
Exactly.
Everybody loves Jason Ross.
Matt's still in the dog. Matt's still in the doghouse for calling me mean. It's only if you get on my bad side. Don't get on my bad side. It's not that hard.
Listen, I made one short joke about
You
Kayla
go. You did
one
this.
time. No, I made one short joke about Kayla one time, and I thought my life was over. So.
Well, then you called her the other name that one time.
Oh, that's what it was.
What was it?
Did I call you
Kyla?
I called you Kyla.
Yeah, exactly.
So would that get you know what, slapped any day of the week.
See? Oh, yeah, I'm so nice. You call me Kyla, though, I'll kill you. By the way, if a goose is near my golf ball, I'll hit it with a golf club. But I'm nice.
I am, actually.
You are. Kayla's very nice. We'll take the break.
Specifically with people I don't know. Too.
That's true. Once she gets to know you, then she'll kill you. She's not a serial killer with random victims. She only kills those that she knows. It's premeditated.
Which is not the way to go if you're a serial killer.
We'll take the break. When we come back, it's lunch break time. If you want to call in to be a part of the show, you absolutely can be. We have a lot from Pick a Side that we'll just move over
we'll
to
just
tomorrow
move it over.
because it just became cop stories with Kayla Anderson. Lunch break is coming up next. What is the best case scenario for both the Kings and Zach LaVine? We'll discuss that, plus realistic expectations for the Kings rookies. At 1 o'clock, we're talking to Kuka Hill of Locked On Pistons about the Jalen Duren news, too. It's Matt and Kayla.
Hey, Ross.
Zach LaVine has opted into his $49 million player option with the Kings. Will the high-priced guard be locked in next to Darius Acuff Jr.? Or should the veteran's minutes be reduced to make way for the new young talent?
Your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Toyota's 4th of July sales event is on. This is the season for more. This 4th of July, get 3.99% APR plus $500 finance cash on 2026 Tacoma SR5. Or get 2.99% APR plus $1,000 finance cash on Tundra. Make the most of summer in a new Toyota truck. Don't miss the 4th of July sales event. Toyota. Let's go places. Offers available through TFS to buyers with pre-rated credit and can't be combined with other offers. Cashback offer excludes Tundra TRD Pro and 6/30/26.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Today alone, 5,370 people in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer. That's why Stand Up to Cancer funds and develops the newest and most promising cancer treatments. Stand Up to Cancer wants to provide you with every opportunity to join in this mission. By donating your home, land, or commercial property, you can help Stand Up to Cancer fund innovative cancer research. Stand Up to Cancer makes the process easy, and it may be tax deductible. Visit standuptocancer.org/giveproperty to learn more.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's time for the lunch break. Your calls, your thoughts, your segment. Call or text us at 916-339-1140. It's the lunch break on Matt and Kayla.
The last 36 hours in Sacramento Kings news have been pretty fun.
I'm not complaining.
But it all started with the news yesterday morning that we all saw coming. What broke first was the least surprising, which was that Zach LaVine is picking up his $49 million player option. We discussed this yesterday. Kayla and I, we went back and forth about, okay, I'm sure a conversation already took place before Zach accepted this option of what his role would look like or the direction the Sacramento Kings are going in and how he fits into that. Mm-hmm. And you and I have discussed at length how neither of us really subscribe to this belief or idea that just send him home and let him count his money or have him sit on the bench and play 10 minutes a night.
I don't like that.
Unless he is in some way being a distraction or negativity or toxic in any way to the team, which we have not heard even an ounce of evidence or information to suggest that is the case. There's no reason to just send him home or to disrespect him in that way because it's not a good look for him, especially on a contract year. He's represented by Clutch Sports. You certainly don't want to piss off Rich Paul. And it's not a good look for the Sacramento Kings, too. And Scott Perry is built on relationships, and other players would pay attention to how you treat one of your veterans, regardless of the circumstance that you're in, right? So there's a lot of reasons for why just sending him home or having him sit on the bench and count his money just doesn't make sense and would be more detrimental to the Kings than anything else. But what does that balance look like, right? Mm-hmm. What is the best case scenario, Kayla? Because the Kings are obviously trying to, 1, win games to avoid the relegation zone, but 2, develop their young core, their new young talent. And Zach LaVine is trying to play himself into his next contract next summer. And while it's not ever going to be $49 million again, if you're Zach, you're like, as a premium scorer, I could probably play my way to 25, 30 plus million a year. So what does that balance look like? I don't know the answer to that.
It's a hard question to answer, Matt, because I first of all want to know what the current relationship is with him opting in. Was that even ever talked about with him in Clutch, that they could see sunnier skies somewhere else? Greener pastures somewhere else, even if that maybe meant opting out of that money and then though pursuing another contract. It makes me think how much, if there was any talk, because I think their agents get out there, and I think that was probably something Clutch did is kind of peek around and see if there was truly any other interest.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much there was, probably not a lot.
We did hear rumors about Detroit, kind of.
That's a good point.
But that was...
It was minimal.
But I think it was more people connecting dots in the sense of, like we talked about, hey, we watched the Pistons fall out of the playoffs because they struggle with scoring. Here's a scorer potentially available.
Yeah.
It wasn't to the level of with the Jalen Duren stuff we're hearing right now.
No, and it kind of died pretty quickly too.
Yeah, and I know some people are saying why it doesn't have to be Sabonis in this potential Jalen Duren sign and trade. It could be Zach LaVine. And again, scoring-wise, Zach LaVine makes sense.
Yeah.
But who the hell is going to play center?
Exactly.
And as Bobby Marks laid out recently, there's not a great center free agency market out there right now.
No, and
So-
especially if you're going to give away a 22-year-old.
Yeah, I don't see a
That's-
scenario where they take back Zach
Right.
Levine and lose their starting center in Jalen Duren.
Yeah. So I first want to, I'm really curious as to what that relationship is, because I'm sure that Scott Perry, this is a guess, by the way, but I would think this is how you run things. You're upfront with your players, as Scott Perry is known to be. Like, how was that received by Zach Levine if it was laid out like, hey, don't be surprised that if at times we do start playing these younger guys, they might get more minutes. I think he's still starting to start the year. I guarantee you probably is. But I don't think it's going to be like what it has been in the past.
Right.
So I do want to know what that relationship is going to be like. And I would hope and pray, guys, that Zach Levine has enough motivation in his game of basketball that he wants to go somewhere else after this and be able to increase his value here. The best thing you can do, and the best thing for both sides, is like, Zach, play your best basketball.
Yeah.
You have to play your best basketball. And I mean, in a way, you have to be a little unselfish to do that at times. But I don't know if that is the way he operates.
We've heard from multiple players, including Zach, I believe, compliment Scott Perry for being a straight shooter.
Yeah.
So Scott has probably shot it straight and will continue to shoot it straight towards Zach Levine of what the Kings are doing and how Zach fits into that. We might not get the opportunity to talk to Scott Perry about Zach's role. And even if we did, I imagine Scott, like a good general manager, would probably defer to, Doug Christie's the head coach of this team. I already know when we ask Doug Christie about it, Doug Christie's going to have his players back. Doug Christie is going to support Zach Levine. He's still here. He's very valuable. We love Zach. We think he's going to be an important piece to our team and what we're doing going forward. I think what Scott Perry said on these airwaves earlier when talking about not Zach, but all veterans, the expectation is you're going to come in here and you're going to play hard and you're going to buy into what we're doing. So Scott clearly has that expectation for Zach and Domas and Precious and any other veteran that they bring in or keep around. I just don't know, and it's probably going to take time to figure out what the balance is going to be with Zach and how he fits in. And I would also imagine, while the Kings want to avoid having 97 different starting lineups like they did last year, mainly because of injuries, I imagine what Zach Levine's role to start the season is probably going to be different if things are proceeding and developing correctly, will probably be different to end the season. Like if you were to tell me Zach Levine to start the season is starting at the 2 guard and playing 30 minutes a night, I'm not thrilled about it, but I get it. But by game 50, assuming he's still on the team, I would hope that's not still his role.
Right.
But who knows? Maybe the Kings are suddenly fighting for a playoff spot and Zach Levine's having a great offensive season.
And that could, look, you can't count that out. You can never say never. Who knows what
I wouldn't
happens.
put my money on it.
Yeah, I mean, this maybe not the betting favorite if we laid out odds here, but that could always happen. He could stay healthy. He could have his, I mean, you never know. He could have his best year in Sacramento next year. And it might be to go to waste in terms of where they're going to go in the playoffs, but he could still have his best year. Like, anything can happen. I just think I'm so fascinated with, like, I just feel like when you're a team and this is what Scott Perry said, you want to be a volunteer, not a hostage.
Right.
When you are a hostage on a team, I think it is very hard to find inner confidence to play your best basketball because it is a team sport when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
You want to be happy and having fun and excited about the season, and it's hard to do that if you feel like you're a hostage. Or you're the odd man out.
Of course.
It's hard to do.
Of course.
So I can't just visualize that knowing that more than likely, and again, he has not said this, Zach Levine has not said this, but it seems to be he might be a little bit more of a hostage than a volunteer at this point.
I would guess that. But then again, like Scott Perry laid out, there is the expectations of you're still here and we're paying you a lot of money, even though we didn't give it to you necessarily, but we're paying you a lot of money. We traded for that contract. So this is the way it's going to be. I think that's going to be one of the major, if not the number one storyline going into training camp, is what does Zach Levine for this team look like? It's going to be a major storyline. But two things that were the least surprising things ever. Number one, Zach LaVine agreeing or picking up his $49 million player option. And number 2, JR calling in after we were telling cop stories and Kayla talking about being pulled over by police. I already know JR. I was like, JR's going to call in as soon as we started talking about that. What up, JR?
First of all, I have dropped Jay Ross's name and got into places I probably shouldn't have gotten into before.
Ooh, there we go.
There we go. But here's my Spokane cop story, Kayla.
Oh, no. Let's go.
Big fan of St. Mary's. Spent many years as a fan going up there, Gonzaga.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, had someone who lived in my house play there in sports. So anyway, up there in the downtown area where that old rundown, fancy, nostalgic hotel is.
The Davenport, but they redid that.
Yeah.
It's all really nice now.
Okay. So we're walking across the street with our Gale garb on, and this guy just kind of does not like the way we walked across the street. And he says, hey, what are you guys doing there? And then giving us stuff. Mm-hmm. And my wife, much like you, Kayla, is a mean person. So,
it's called
she
sassy.
was not having it. And they started... I was like, is this really going down right now? Like, I'm going to get arrested in Spokane? And finally, he kind of dropped it, and we walked in. But I always remember going, well, that guy really had a little chip on his shoulder. I think it was just because we weren't St. Mary's stuff. But that's what might have been the reason. I don't know.
No.
He was having a bad night.
I've got backing. I've got backing from multiple people now that aren't even from Spokane.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have to hit me with the billy club a couple times, but other than that, I was good.
That's all. I just love that your wife is, I like to use the word sassy, folks, not mean. There's a difference.
There is a difference. There's a very big difference.
Yes.
Shout out JR. Not surprising at all that JR
has
has
the best stories.
Spokane cop story of all people. Shout out JR. Appreciate
Did he say someone in his family played at St. Mary's?
I don't know.
Is that what you heard?
I think he was insinuating that his wife probably played at St. Mary's.
Oh, okay.
I just heard he was a fan.
Look at that. Love it.
Oh, see, you, JR, bonded. There you go. Spokane.
Good old Spokompton, baby.
Spokane cop stories. I never got to go to Spokane when I was up there. I stayed just in the Seattle and Snohomish
Well, it's
area.
5 hours away, so you weren't going to get there.
Yeah, Spokane's on the border of Idaho. It's basically Idaho.
Yeah, I ain't going out.
I love it.
I'm going to start calling you Idaho Kayla, and that'll get me punched.
Idaho, Kayla.
Can you say that on the radio?
I said Idaho, Kayla.
Heidi-ho, neighbor.
I said Idaho, Kayla. That's Idaho, Kayla. What are you talking about?
You know what we're talking about.
No, I don't.
That smile suggests otherwise.
I'm not smiling.
She's sassy. She's not mean.
My grin, my itch-eating grin.
TC, save us. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Matt, Kayla, what's up, man? Hey, we having some cold conversations.
we listen. It's loose. We excited, man. It's good vibes, TC.
Hey.
Like you talked about. It's good vibes around here right now because of Scott.
Hey, I've been trying to tell everybody, man, let these guys cook. Did you see him at the interview that he had with Dave? That was he always looking sharp, but that was the most sharp I ever seen Scott, bro. He had a haircut. He had the purple shirt on with the purple tint. Bro, we finna swing a trade for Durant. Listen, Scott is finna put this together, big dog. I'm telling y'all, I keep saying it on these airwaves. The moves that are going to be done this summer will have the Kings top 10 next year. That's all I got. I love y'all, man. Peace.
TC, we always love the optimism. I will say this. Scott Perry oozes charisma. He's just
he really
just
does,
a charismatic dude, and he's very self-confident and knows how to speak and how to deliver information, but also when to be real and get down to business. He's going to be whining. It sounds like he's going to be whining and dining Jalen Duren a little bit here today as they're reportedly going to have a face-to-face meeting. I'd imagine it's here in Sacramento, but I don't know.
Where do you take him if you go to like a nice dinner?
It's a great question.
I'm still new here, so I'm learning all the spots.
When where did they went to? Was it McCooney's they went to when Jimmy Butler got suspended in Sacramento?
I don't remember that instance, but I know, McCooney's is definitely
sushi spot.
Taro's is definitely a
So
spot.
there was a viral video years ago because Jimmy got suspended by the Heat when he was having his contract pulled out.
I remember that.
And the game was in Sacramento, and he was like watching it at some restaurant in Sacramento. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Bring him over to like Red Robin.
Oh, I know. I have one by my house, and I'm like, man, I haven't been to a Red Robin since high school. Those endless bottomless steak fries.
Red Robin has one of my favorite burgers.
Was it Red Robin or was it somewhere else where they saw Luca out in Sacramento? I think it was a Golden Corral, maybe.
awesome.
But someone said they saw Luca at a Golden Corral in Sacramento.
McDonald's.
Their fries are still the best.
In-N-Out. I'm surprised none of the rookies got asked about In-N-Out last night. That's like normally a staple question.
I'm surprised Alan didn't ask, because somebody had asked in the chat, or Whitey was in the chat asking what questions should we ask yesterday. And I think someone had mentioned, like, ask if A-Cuff's had In-N-Out.
I will say real quick, Alan redeemed himself in that interview in real time because his first question to A-Cuff was about what food he likes. And I was like, Alan!
Oh.
And then he brought it back.
He brought it back.
The Draymond interview definitely got the best reaction I've seen, period, out of Darius
Well, you
A-Cuff,
got to get someone on your side, and that's the perfect setup to get someone on your side.
Let's talk about food?
No.
The Draymond.
To make sure that, because
he should have led with that.
Yeah, but
I understood what you were saying with Draymond, but for those idiots who didn't, can you clarify?
Right. And he's like, thanks. I'm glad. That was a very, like, was that A-Cuff who said that? He was like, I really appreciate that. I was like, wait, is this A-Cuff
He said, thanks for seeing it like the right way or interpreting it that way.
But that, it takes that one question to really, like, have someone feel comfortable.
Break
and I think
the ice.
that did it.
And then Alan closed the door back shut at the end of the interview when he started telling him, I'll send you my shoe size to get new shoes. He was like, all right. All right, I'm out of here.
Them Reeboks.
I'm out of here. No, the Drive guys did a phenomenal job with Darius.
Yeah, that was fun.
If you missed that interview, you can find it right now on SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports YouTube channel. Before we get back to this conversation around the Kings and Zach LaVine, plus realistic expectations for the Kings rookies, Dominic, nice enough to call in during the lunch break. What up, Dominic?
Hey, guys. Hey, Matt and Kayla. How you doing?
Hey, Dom.
Hey, two things really quick. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting about the LaVine discussion, how he's going to show up this year. If I were to put money on it, I mean, it's his expiring year. He still wants to make some money. He's still semi-young. He's kind of at the tail end of his career, and I don't expect him to kind of just lay out and do nothing for us. So, but also, I think in that Duren trade, I know Sabonis and Duren are linked, and you guys brought it up earlier. I think as Kings fans, we tend to get attached to players that either haven't played with us that long or just younger. Like, why couldn't we maybe explore a trade with LaVine to the Pistons? And, they still need a center. We throw in Cardwell. So it's a LaVine Cardwell for Duren.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a good point, by the way. But it is a good point. Like, he's just saying, I know a lot of people would be mad right away at that. Like, what do you mean you're giving away Cardwell?
But then what? Do you then pivot to move Domas later? Because is Domas your starting 4 and Duren's your starting 5? Like, that's a lot. Now that is, in theory, if you were to, because in the sign and trade scenario, in theory, let's say the number is $48 million that they're giving Jalen Duren. Now you're giving almost $100 million to your center position. Just your center position.
Yeah, Domas would have to get moved. If the Pistons don't want Domas has to get moved in
somewhere else.
Hey, Toronto, we're still not taking Jakob Poeltl, but how about RJ Barrett?
Which, by the way, did you see that the Kawhi trade is being held up by Jamal Shed?
No.
So,
I missed that.
Yeah, this was, I think, Azerly, who covers the Clippers. But basically, they have the framework of the deal. It's going to be Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, first-round pick. The Clippers want Jamal Shed if they're going to take Grady Dick. And the deal is completely hung up because Toronto won't give up Jamal Shed.
Selfishly, I also hate this trade because I don't want to trade Dylan Cardwell because, 1, he's fun and we love him. And 2, he said if he ever has a 20-point game, which he's never had in his career, he'd go to Disneyland with me. So I'm holding him to that.
Well, first and foremost, we need him on the show.
That too.
First and foremost, it's the summertime, Cardwell. If you're listening, we know you're here.
I don't think Dylan's the problem.
We'd love to have you on the show. Hey, agent, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
Dylan's
your client
great.
on the show.
We love Dylan. I love the fact that Dylan and Keegan were at the press conference yesterday, too. And Scott Perry did confirm that Dylan and Neek will be playing in the California Classic. He didn't say how many games they'd be playing, but they will be playing.
But
and
no Max,
I think
right?
James Ham initially reported that Maxime Reynaud is away from the team right now because he's on French national team duties. So he's not going to be playing in the California Classic, but he sounds like he will be with the team in Vegas.
Cool.
So I assume that means we'll see a little bit of Maxime Reynaud in Las Vegas Summer League.
And by the way, I want to pub this every time we can get it. It's not, we don't have the official papers yet, but I want to pub that Sactown Sports, I think our whole entire station has done an incredible job putting out content in terms of the draft and everything from our digital team to our shows.
Right.
We are also going to be at NBA Summer League, and our digital team is going to be there. The afternoon show is going to be there. But we're also on this show going to try to effort anything we can throughout the day to get you reaction, press conferences, whatever happens. You can stick here to Sactown Sports because we're going to have you covered throughout the whole NBA Summer League.
From our friends and colleagues that'll have their feet on the ground in Vegas to those of us staying back here, we will have full, intensive coverage of the Las Vegas Summer League, the California Classic that begins this weekend and then some. So exactly what Kayla said. Sactown Sports will be all over the Summer League for you. This reminds me of the Summer League, too. The last time the Kings had this high of a pick in the Summer League was Keegan Murray.
Sure. And
I was at ABC 10 at the time, and I went down to cover the Summer League. And I don't know if anybody remembers Keegan Murray's Summer League debut, but it was against Paolo Banchero and the Magic, and that game went to overtime. The finish of that game was wild. Keegan Murray hit a game-tying 3. That was inside the Thomas and Mack Center, which is the main, because there's 2 gyms. That's the main gym. That's the main gym.
Yeah.
Thomas and Mack Center.
And they're playing all 4 games in the main gym.
Because there's the Cox Pavilion as well. That's the one that's attached to it. But the Thomas and Mack Center, and the Summer League's a great time because it's like a festival of basketball, and there's a lot of people there and a lot of media members and just legends and stuff that come through just to say hi. But then the crowd is typically just fans of multicolored jerseys, right? It's just fans everywhere. But they are there because they love basketball and they're excited. So that place was rocking. When Keegan hit that game-tying 3 and I was sitting courtside for it, it was like Keegan's welcome to the NBA moment in a way. I think the Magic ended up winning that game, and Paolo Banchero had a big game, a big debut there. But you can have some fun, exciting moments in Summer League, and we've experienced some fun, exciting moments in the California Classic too. And I think we're going to get a lot of those this summer.
I know, and that's the thing. If you are here, I know some of you all going out of town for the 4th of July weekend. By the way, be safe.
Yep.
But if you're in town, boom, boom, we've got the California Classic right here in your backyard. Like, what better way to go see these rookies for the first time?
Affordable,
how cool.
Fun. It's always a great family atmosphere. Come out to a California Classic game, have a good time. Plus, I believe, I should be careful here because I don't want to misspeak, but the way it's been in the past is if you buy a California Classic ticket, you have access to both games in that same day. So you could just sit there.
That's awesome.
And watch basketball all day if you want to.
And then I believe, Dodgers in town. So it'll be, if you go to a baseball game, it's right across the street.
I saw Shohei Ohtani hit a home run last night. By the way, did you see the rookie's first pitches?
Well, Kayla tweeted at us.
I think I won because I did. Your boy did not.
My boy Emmanuel Sharp.
It was not sharp.
Nice. Yeah, it was. It wasn't quite as bad as like Carly Rae Jepsen or who else was it? 50 Cent had a terrible first pitch, but
there's a lot. Freaking Taylor Lewan at Bussin' with the Boys, one of the worst I've ever seen.
Listen, Sharp. Let's stick to basketball, huh, bud?
Caravan's I don't think was bad.
His was fine.
Yeah.
He just kind of noodle armed it.
Yeah, but I thought Acuff was the best.
Yeah, you were right. You were right. And you tweeted at us that you were right.
Look, I got to give my credit where credit is due because no one else is going to give it to me.
She's not angry. She's sassy, okay?
I am. Well, this is what happens. Right? It's credit is given to certain people.
Also,
and other people don't ever get it. So I got to give my own credit.
Just as a quick correction, the Dodgers are in town this week, but when the California Classic gets going, the Dodgers series will be over. So it'll be a better team, though, which is the Miami Marlins, best team in the National League.
Let's go!
Since June 1st.
Kyle is going to avoid the California Classic so he can go and watch his Finns play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't pay for A's tickets, but yes.
Oh, look at him. Big shot.
Big flex over here.
Look at that.
No, it's out of principle. I don't want to give John Fisher my money, so I don't pay for A's tickets.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right.
Everybody.
Oh, is this Dwayne?
Hold on. Here's Dwayne. We haven't heard Dwayne since before the draft.
Dwayne called in when you were gone,
okay,
bro.
Dwayne, whatever.
Dwayne called in
that's
twice,
fine, Dwayne.
bro.
No, I'm just going to leave. Why don't you go talk to Kayla, Dwayne? That's all right.
What's up, though, homies?
What's up, Dwayne? Matt's so mad, Dwayne.
Are we homies, Dwayne? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. You already know we good. We family, man.
What's up, brother?
You guys not gonna like this though. I like Caravan. I like Sharp. But A-Cup is going to be a disaster, bro.
What?
I don't know.
Dwayne!
I don't know why you guys are glossing over the fact so bad that this guy has never played defense.
What? He played one season in college. What are we talking about? Oh, he's gone?
Dwayne is, well, this is nothing new. This is no breaking news.
Come on, Dwayne!
So when you were gone, obviously
vibes.
they drafted A-Cup, and Dwayne called in a couple times, and both times, though, he made it clear. And look, to each is your own. Not everybody is fans still of this young man. Now, I hope Acuff proves you wrong, Dwayne. Not going to lie. But he just isn't the biggest fan of Acuff, and it's primarily because of the defensive stuff. And some people need to see it before they believe it. So,
I actually, if we ever hear back from Dwayne again, if he ever calls back when I'm actually on the air, I'll ask him who he wanted, because I genuinely don't remember who he wanted. I remember Dwayne specifically not loving the idea at all of the Kings having to move up to get Acuff, which I completely understand too, but they didn't ultimately have to do that. So
I think he was he a Kingston Fleming's guy?
He might have been. Is this Dwayne back on hold? Dwayne, you're back. Who did you want the Kings to draft?
So, I got to call out my boy TC real quick, too.
Uh-oh.
Because he got real reckless and, 50,000 watts with multiple name drops last week. And, if you're going to check the mic, man, at least check it right, man.
Oh, no.
Because everybody knows that I never mentioned Nate Aments. I don't even know who that is. For Caleb Wilson, or I said trade down for Yaxel.
Okay. Well, Dwayne wanted either trading down for Yaxel. Thank you, Dwayne. Shout out to Dwayne. Again, I'm with Kayla. I hope you're wrong about Darius Acuff Jr., but everybody is, of course, entitled to their opinion. I want good vibes, though, Dwayne. Damn it. We're excited. I was not a big Kayla. It's funny. It's just preferences, because Kayla and I were not too thrilled with Yaxel about.
He was a Yaxel guy.
He just said either trade down for Yaxel or trade up for Caleb. And listen,
I was reading a rude comment at the time, so
I would have loved for the Kings to be able to be in a position to trade up to get Caleb Wilson, but that would have been ridiculously expensive. Actually, Scott kind of talked about the possibility of trading up on the morning show this morning. He was like, "Look, it's difficult enough to trade up as it is, and would have been way too expensive." And he didn't have to. The guy that they wanted the entire time was there for them at 7. So time will tell if it was the right pick or not. I would imagine I'm gonna step in front of Dwayne here. I would imagine Dwayne, who I know is a Kings fan, I would imagine Dwayne would rather be wrong if it meant the Kings being good than be right and Acuff be a failure. So Dwayne, I'm hoping that's true. But I'm excited to see Acuff. I think Acuff has the opportunity right away. I mean, he definitely does have the opportunity right away to put on a show in the California Classic this weekend, especially considering his first game is against the dude that was taken one spot ahead of him in Michael Brown Jr. Now, I don't think Acuff's too mad about it because he wanted to go to the Kings at 7, but there's always going to be with these players a chip on the shoulder of, especially against the guys that were drafted ahead of me, oh, you best believe I'm going to be motivated. Just like if the Kings meet the Hawks in the Summer League or during the regular season, I have a feeling Kingston Flemings might be a little fired up to take on the Kings.
I'm excited to watch him. I mean, throughout the season, too. I hope he has a good year with Atlanta. Like I say, just not as good as our guy Acuff.
Not as good as our guy Acuff.
Yeah.
Who could put on a show and win Rookie of the Year. I think he's got a very legitimate shot at that.
He's 4th in terms of betting favorites right now.
We will talk probably on tomorrow's show about realistic expectations for the Kings rookies, because we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but obviously the Kings are going to give them, or they should be giving them, plenty of opportunities to show what they could do. And I imagine that it also includes Emmanuel Sharp in the second round, but we'll see what they do with him, if he is going to start his career in the G League, if he's going to be a two-way guy or not. We'll figure that all out when we get to it. But why don't we talk a little bit of football? Because before Kayla's 2-minute drill, ESPN graded all of the off seasons for every single NFL team. What grades did they give the 49ers and Raiders off seasons? We'll tell you when we come back. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The stars align in West Sacramento as the A's go head-to-head with the Los Angeles Dodgers for a spectacular summer series starting Monday, June 29th. Celebrate the start of the holiday week with an action-packed series. Be there to witness one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the season. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
That's the sound of savings happening right now at Elk Grove Honda. You remember, right? Elk Grove Hondas are still cheap. And right now you'll find a good deal more on new Honda gas and hybrid Accords, Civics, CRVs, and more fuel-efficient Elk Grove Hondas. Every sale is done right here, under the flag in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Come see why generations of families return again and again to Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, because Elk Grove Hondas are cheap.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave.
What's up? It's Matt George.
What's good? It's Alan Stiles.
With the most trusted voices in the community.
This is Jason Ross.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson.
It's Whitey Gleason.
Ready to help promote your business, both as partners and customers. All you have to do is ask. Pick up the phone, dial pound 250 and say, grow my business to get connected with a team member today. That's pound 250 and say, grow my business. Our team will review your product, quickly pair you with a perfect endorser, and create video and audio samples, all at no cost or obligation to you. With the most live and local on-air lineup, a dynamic content-driven website, and a state-of-the-art mobile app, Sactown Sports 1140 is tailor-made to help you connect with a sports audience in Sacramento. So why wait? Dial pound 250 today. Say, grow my business, and let us help take you to the next level.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Imran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older and you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold, with me, Kenny Michaels.
In celebration of 80 years of 49ers football, Sactown Sports is counting down 80 of the most memorable moments that have shaped the team's storied legacy and winning tradition. Here's today's faithful flashback.
Number 50, T.O.'s Dallas Stars celebration.
There are more important moments in 49ers history, but you won't find many more memorable than what Terrell Owens did in Dallas. Adding fuel to the Niners-Cowboys rivalry on September 24th of 2000, T.O. caught a TD and sprinted to midfield and stood on the Cowboys star with arms out and looking to the sky in an act of faith. The Cowboys naturally didn't like it, but when T.O. caught a late TD to put the game away, he sprinted to the star again and planted the ball on the logo, and instantly he was blasted by the Cowboys' George Teague. Teague was tossed from the game, T.O. was suspended the next week by the commissioner, even though that penalty was later reduced to just a fine.
Faithful Flashbacks on Sactown Sports 1140.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Sometimes I get text messages over the break that just leave me a little bit concerned. Text message that I just got in our family group chat from my wife talking about my son because they're out buying fireworks for 4th of July today.
Mm-hmm.
The text is, quote, "I just bought Artie a fireworks sword."
Whoa. That's
I don't know what
a
that
fireworks
is.
Sword. So, not a sparkler. Sparklers are crazy too, if you don't know how to handle them.
And she's the responsible one.
A sword? That sounds intense.
If she's buying it for a 4-year-old, it's got to be something like
Maybe
pretty
it's,
tame.
yeah, I'm like, maybe it's just like,
Well, knowing my son, he's going to swing it at dad. So great. Thanks, babe.
It's a sword that is
exploding? I don't know.
maybe it doesn't really have them on there and it's just like a pretend.
By the
Do you
way,
think?
I just think it maybe looks like fireworks.
Two years ago for 4th of July, and we get our fireworks from like those little pop-up fireworks stands all
They're
over the
all
place.
over the place.
Yeah, and then a lot of them, they do like fundraisers for schools and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that.
So we're getting some from my son's school fundraiser. And one of them, I don't know if it was made improperly or whatever the hell, but it was basically a grenade.
Ooh.
Like we lit it and it just exploded. Thankfully, we had enough time to like put it down and go back. You know, fireworks are supposed to just spew out different colored sparks and stuff. This one just went boom. It just blew up.
Those things can be dangerous.
Yep.
Be careful this weekend, like I said.
Keep your eye out for the drones. Those drones are out there. They're
Yeah.
monitoring.
Holy smokes.
Don't do anything spooky. Ooh, we got our first shot picture of Darius Acuff Jr. in the Kings
Love it.
5.
Just
There he
looks
is.
like he's about business.
All swagged out in his new Kings uniform.
Very nice.
Cool to see. Let's talk football, shall we? Before Kayla's 2-minute drill, NFL off seasons are essentially at an end for the most part. There's still little minor things that can still happen, like we've talked about. The Raiders maybe adding some veteran wide receiver help with some of the names that are still out there and available. But for the most part, the substance of these off seasons for these teams is pretty much finished. And now we're just counting down the days till training camps begin in late July. So ESPN felt comfortable enough giving out their grades for every single NFL offseason. Let's start with the San Francisco 49ers, as we are your Sacramento home of the Niners. The Niners get a B+ for their offseason. Their biggest move, signing left tackle Trent Williams to a new contract. Move I liked, signing wide receiver Mike Evans. Move I disliked, drafting wide receiver Deshaun Stribling with the first pick in round 2. I'll read, it's a long explanation, so I'll just read a bit and piece of it and then get our football expert Kayla's breakdown of this grade and their thoughts on it. The Seahawks are fresh off a Super Bowl victory, and the Rams spent the offseason loading up for another run. But despite a quieter offseason, the 49ers shouldn't be overlooked in the NFC West. San Francisco scored an early victory in free agency, landing Evans on a 3-year deal that pays him just over $14 million per year and is fully guaranteed for only the $14.3 million he'll earn in 2026. It was clearly a below-market deal, and it's a testament to Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers that Evans wanted to take a pay cut to play for San Francisco, and it meant the team could upgrade at wide receiver without sacrificing its future financial situation. It goes into more detail about names like that they didn't pick up, like Juwan Jennings, the Osa Odighizuwa trade, but ultimately it seems like ESPN, for the most part, likes the offseason that the San Francisco 49ers had. I'm curious how you look at the offseason for the Niners in general, Kayla, because you and I talked a lot about when the Mike Evans trade first broke, the reservations about Evans coming off of the injury-riddled season that he had last year and breaking that 1,000-yard streak and all the injuries that the Niners are already dealing with. So from a 10,000 feet up, like blanket overview of the Niners offseason, what grade would you give it, or how
I don't
confident are you
like
with
giving
it?
grades. Like, I don't necessarily fully subscribe and just me giving grades.
Okay, are you
But,
really excited about it, not excited about it, in the middle?
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
I'm not convinced for the fact, and I've been on this from the start with the free agency signings, is I just don't know. I've covered a lot of teams in my career, not just NFL, but like NHL, like where they tend to keep the core together for too long and the core like dissembles at some point because they're just too old. Sometimes they bring in too many stars that have kind of had those careers and they're on the tail end of it and it just doesn't work together. So part of me has maybe a little bit of PTSD from covering those teams that have kept cores together and it just has not worked out. With saying that, I do always feel like I trust a lot of what Lynch and Shanahan do together. They always seem to be on the same page, and I do know it's a destination. A lot of players like to come there, do come there, and there is still that chance that it could all work out if they can stay healthy. But I think whenever I have to say if they can stay healthy, if that's the thing I'm saying more than I'm not, then I'm still a little bit skeptical about it. I like the more and more the Stribling pick, like I get comfortable with it, the more and more I'm like, okay, I kind of do get it. You don't have to go with just what the draft boards are saying in terms of analysts. They believe in their own draft board, and I respect that. Now, it has to play out in their favor, and he's a little older wide receiver, but if he can contribute right away this year, that'll be big. Pearsall's got to be healthy. That's a question mark. It's not an off-season move, but it's for the bigger picture. So I'm just in the middle on it. I would have probably, if I'm going to give it a B, if you're forced or give it a grade, it's a B. If you're forcing me to give it a grade, it's a B. I ain't
forcing nothing.
Yeah. So
I was surprised that Stribling was what they identified as their least favorite move, though. I
was too, but I think some did think they reached for Stribling
after trading down a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought when I opened this story, I was like, well, I'm going to see the Raiders close to the top because I thought a lot of people really, really liked the offseason that the Raiders had. ESPN gave the Raiders a C. Their biggest move, drafting quarterback Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall, move they liked, trying to trade edge Max Crosby, move I disliked.
The move that's a little odd to me.
So I'll just read essentially one paragraph of this. After mentioning the Crosby trade to the Ravens, they said the trade was a home run for the Raiders. They were a rebuilding team, trading a soon-to-be 29-year-old player on a salary-laden contract for 2 first-round picks. It was a clear victory despite the emotional pain. Unfortunately for Las Vegas, it was not meant to be. So my interpretation of this grade is that ESPN's giving a C grade because the Crosby trade fell apart. Not that it was ever, and they're not saying it was the Raiders' fault by any means, but they said the offseason would have been way better for Las Vegas if that trade had gone through versus keeping a Pro Bowl defensive end who's now in theory reinvigorated and reignited. So I disagree with that. I think keeping Max Crosby around and reconnecting with Max Crosby is a really good thing for the Raiders in addition to all the other moves that they made. But they seem to believe that was the biggest miss of the offseason was the fact that a really good trade fell through the Raiders' fingers.
Yeah, and I would really quickly add that Tyler Linderbaum was one of the best moves that they made. And they had to make it on that offensive line to help the guy that's going to be right in center with him in Fernando Mendoza one day, probably soon this season.
They do mention Linderbaum. By the way, the Raiders got one of the longest explanations out of everybody in this. I
thought they had an okay. I would have given him more than a C for sure.
I think his argument is just they gave Linderbaum so much money.
Yeah, I understand
they
that.
had money to spend.
But that's. By the way, there's a Shams bomb. So do we want to get to it? I think it involves Kawhi Leonard.
Hold on.
So
you want
to Matt, pull it up.
Breaking news. Yep, fire away.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
You go for it.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
You want it?
I took it off the chat.
The Los Angeles Clippers are nearing a deal sending Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders.
Yes.
He's going home-ish,
my
kinda.
boy. He's going back to the Six.
He's going.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Back to Toronto.
This made my day. My favorite player ever is going back to the place that loves him so dearly.
You need your
Good old Toronto.
You need your Kawhi Leonard Jolly Rancher shirt. Huge breaking news.
I know, right? You need that on today. Do you have it?
I don't have it with me, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that more as the show progresses. We do have Kayla's 2-minute drill coming up next, also at 1 o'clock. Kuka Hill.
We could probably, by the way, 2-minute drill is probably going to be a little shorter today, so we could probably fit in some of this reaction.
Let's do a quick 2-minute drill. We'll talk more about Kawhi Leonard, and he's on his way to Toronto, it sounds like. Plus, Kuka Hill from Locked On Pistons will join us at 1 o'clock to get the Detroit perspective on these Jalen Duren to Sacramento conversations that are happening. This offseason is awesome already in the NBA, and you're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
Take Sactown Sports with you everywhere you go with the Sactown Sports app. The most in-depth coverage of the Kings and 49ers. A library of written and video content. And all your favorite personalities all in one place. Download the Sactown Sports app today and get in on the action. Your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic.
And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle?
Thanks for noticing. Catchy, right?
No.
Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic.
There's only one Ozempic.
I told you it was catchy.
Future you wants to have fun on the 4th, so get set in one stop at Target's 4th of July sale. Get 40% off women's dresses, skirts, and shorts. And for the kiddos, shorts are 20% off. What's a celebration without something tasty? Frozen treats are BOGO 25% off. Plus, you save 30% on soda 12-packs when you buy 3. Have fun all weekend long. Shop Target's 4th of July sale. And Saturday, restrictions apply.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the buffalo wing. Perfect! Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! Incredible! What a finish! Sensational combination! Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Country in the Park 2, presented by your California Army National Guard, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Russell Dickerson. Plus more. Enjoy line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bull, and food trucks. Tickets start at just $70. Country in the Park 2, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra, the California Office of Traffic Safety, and Caltrans. More info at CITPFest.com.
At Folsom Chevy, they're making it easier to get a new truck. From how you're treated to sweet new deals. Swing by the Folsom Auto Mall, ask about their incredible new finance offer on every new 2026 Silverado half-ton truck in stock. Folsom Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's time for the 2-minute drill. Kayla Anderson has the ball, and she's taking us around the world of football. It's Kayla's 2-minute drill on Matt and Kayla.
Not football related, but if you just missed it, breaking news from Shams, Kawhi Leonard is heading on back north of the border. He's going back to Canada to play for the Toronto Raptors in a deal where the knee-jerk reaction or immediate reaction for a lot of people is, wow, the Clippers low-key. I mean, they traded Kawhi But the Clippers might have fleeced the Raptors a little bit because they got a haul for him. Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, but the players don't really matter. 2 firsts, 1 pick swap, 2 second-rounders. Listen, the Clippers, they lost a lot of draft picks when they famously traded for Paul George.
Right.
They're recouping some of that draft compensation right now. So a great haul for the Clippers, and no one's happier than Kyle that Kawhi Leonard is heading back to Toronto.
Oh my
He's cheesing,
gosh.
man.
Yes.
He is cheesing.
I'm so happy. For those who don't know, I grew up in San Diego. Kawhi Leonard, San Diego State.
Yep.
I went to watch him as a kid. He's my favorite player for the rest of time. And that Toronto championship was so special, and I'm so glad that he's going back to Toronto. It was so weird when he was on the Clippers. Like, I get that they won a bunch and he had these great seasons, but it feels right that he's going back to Toronto. It feels.
Do we
just
have
right.
any more breaking news?
We do.
Yeah, I think we have more
breaking news from Chris Haynes.
Yep. For the Kings.
When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sactown Sports breaking news.
Free agent forward Precious Achiuwa
Let's go.
has agreed on terms to re-sign with the Sacramento Kings on a 2-year, $11.5 million deal. So just shy of $6 million
Nice.
per year. Precious Achiuwa
Let's
is
go.
back.
Let's go. Look, we can skip 2-minute drill today. We've got too much stuff breaking here, including this one that affects right here the Sacramento Kings. And I know people are pretty passionate about Achiuwa being back. So we can wait for 2-minute drill tomorrow. We're not missing out on anything.
The Precious was truly, amidst a horrible season in Sacramento, 22-60, Precious was one of the best stories in the NBA last season. With just how and I know the joke is, and Alan Stiles' joke has always been, he made a mixtape here in Sacramento while helping the Kings win games that maybe it was in their best interest not to win towards the end of the season. But Precious, there was a time where Precious was sitting there watching training camp go by, waiting for a phone call thinking, am I out the league?
Mm-hmm.
And got an opportunity in Sacramento, and not just that, basically became a starter right away in Sacramento and held down that spot for the entire season. Had some big games, some big moments, became a fan favorite, of course, and really bonded with a lot of those guys, including the Beam Boys in the locker room. I love this. I'm glad Precious Achiuwa is back.
So there was talk about, how really can you break down his season when a lot of it was just kind of against lesser opponents and all of that stuff. I am probably one of the first to go completely against that, for the reason that what did you want this guy to do? He did everything he could possibly do in terms of someone taking a chance on him, a flyer on him, paying him 2.1 whatever it was a year minimum. And then coming in here, I don't care what the team was or who he was out on the court with. He did everything he could do to prove he was worthy of a contract and worthy of a spot next year on a roster.
Yeah.
And I can never go on the other side and just be well, really, what will he look like? Look, he did what he was supposed to do, and he is worthy of staying here and getting more money. So I just am good job, Precious Achiuwa, and I think he's a perfect fit here.
Yep.
I think he fits the organization, the vision here with Scott Perry.
Agreed.
So I am ecstatic about it. I'm so pumped for Achiuwa.
He went from not having a job to start the season to having the best season of his career. That's
down.
what we're talking. Now, he got plenty of opportunity out of necessity because the Kings were so injury-riddled. Played 73 games for the Kings last season, started in 57 of them, averaged just shy of 24 minutes a game. Now, he's played 24 minutes a game at one other time in his career. That was the second half of the season after he was traded from the Raptors to the New York Knicks in 2023-24. So he's played that many minutes on average before. But his shooting percentage is 52% from the field, 27% from three-point range, but that's about average with what he's been throughout his career. Not really a three-point threat. Also, only a 55% free throw shooter, but averaged 6 rebounds a game, including 2.5 offensive rebounds a game, averaged just over an assist, just under a steal, just under a block, doesn't turn the ball over, and averaged a career-high 10 points per game for Sacramento last year. And like I said, he bonded really quickly with the fans, with the city. The fans loved the hustle that he played with, and he bonded really quickly with the guys specifically, no disrespect to anybody else, but he's bonded really quickly with the guys that you expect to be here for the long haul. The Beam Boys. He became one of them. Precious is not Precious will tell you I'm not an old guy, but he's certainly
said that verbatim.
I'm not old, but he's not a young guy the way we talk about Maxime Reynaud and Nick Clifford and those rookies as young guys in terms of NBA experience. But he worked his way into that group, and you could tell he earned the confidence and the trust of Doug Christie very, very quickly. In a year that had so many ups and downs, and a year of so much inconsistency with his rotation, being able to have Precious Achiuwa, who he could lean on to essentially make the same impact and be the same guy on a nightly basis, was, I'm sure, a very, very, very valuable piece and a steady rock for Doug to have throughout the chaos of last season.
Now you're just hoping that this isn't just, a situation where he was steaming after not getting signed. And, I don't see Precious being like that. Like, I feel like he'll continue to build off of what last year was, because he seems like a guy, and I say this because do you remember every time he played a former team last year, he seemed to have his best games?
Let's get into the game logs here.
Right? I mean, it was so fun to watch. It was like, what's he going to do tonight against the Knicks? He finds a way to dig deep in some of these games, and hopefully he can continue to do that next year.
So the Sacramento Kings spoiled the return of Mike Brown and the world champion New York Knicks. They weren't world champions yet. They are now. When they came to Sacramento on January 14th. This was at the time, though, to be fair, where the Knicks were kind of floundering a little bit. They weren't playing very well, and there was starting to be some concerns in New York. Obviously, they worked it out, and then some. In that game, Precious Achiuwa against his former team, clearly feeling a certain type of way about what went down, had 20 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, also had 6 offensive rebounds, and played almost 40 minutes in that game, 38.5 minutes, shot 50% from the field, even knocked down a pair of 3-pointers in that game. So, bit of a revenge tour there for Precious against those New York Knicks.
He played also for Toronto, which he had a big game against too.
Let's see, I'm trying to find it.
Can't remember.
He had a 11-point game in Toronto. I'm pulling up all his biggest games. He had 2 29-point games, one against the Pelicans in Sacramento. Was that the game you were at? No, that was the loss. That was earlier in the season. Also had 29 at Dallas against the Mavericks. 28 at Toronto.
Yeah, at
That's
Toronto.
The one we're talking
I was like,
about.
I knew it was one of those.
He had 28 and 19.
Yeah.
11 offensive rebounds in that game.
Precious.
Wasn't 28? That was the game Allen was complaining cost them the draft pick, right? Was the Precious scoring 28 in Toronto?
I think it might have been.
Because DeRozan had like 40 in that game too.
Yeah, you're right.
It's definitely easier now to appreciate, now that like the draft is over with and the circumstances are over with and it is what it is type thing, to appreciate what he brought. And we already knew the Kings appreciated him, and what I love that he made it very clear right away that he wanted to be back. It reminded me of, Kayla, this was before you're here, but when the Kings traded for Trey Lyles, mid-season, when he came from Detroit, he had kind of bounced around and was looking for a home, and this was Beam Team 1 year, ended the season playing pretty well and said, I want to come back, I can't wait to come back, and the Kings ended up bringing him back and working it out really quickly. They're doing the same thing with Precious Achiuwa. Now, hopefully, Precious now from here on out does better for the Kings than Trey Lyles did. A lot of that wasn't Trey's fault. He got hurt and dealt with nagging injuries. But I can see Precious Achiuwa being the starting 4, depending upon what they do with Keegan and Ayton and Hunter, and their center position. I could see Precious Achiuwa being either their starting or very consistent backup 4 for the next couple of years, easy.
Yeah, and I think that's the real reason why, if you think about it, and first of all, it's a pretty decent deal. I know that some people maybe thought less, maybe some people thought it would be more than that. I saw a couple people in the chat saying, oh, this is a lot less than what I thought he would take. But I think he is certainly part of the future in terms of what Scott is envisioning. And again, is he 27, did we say?
Achiuwa?
He's turning 27.
So he is like still in that peak of his career. So yeah, I very much feel like he is going to be part of this future core.
I'm waiting for Bobby Marks' breakdown on all this because I'm curious financially how they're making this work specifically. So we'll find out more, I'm sure, as time goes on. But if you missed it, according to Chris Haynes, Precious Achiuwa is returning to the Sacramento Kings, or will be returning to the Sacramento Kings on a 2-year 5-year deal worth in total, what was it, $11.5 million. We'll take the break. When we come back, today's also a big day with free agency beginning. The Kings are reportedly having a meeting with Jalen Duren today about trying to put themselves in a Jalen Duren sign and trade sweepstakes with the Detroit Pistons, the 22-year-old coming off of an all-star season. Let's get to the Detroit Pistons' perspective on this. This news broke yesterday, and it's been a whirlwind of information since. Ku Cahill from Locked On Pistons covers the Pistons very, very closely in Detroit, joins us next right here on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
Take Sactown Sports with you everywhere you go with the Sactown Sports app. The most in-depth coverage of the Kings and 49ers. A library of written and video content. And all your favorite personalities all in one place. Download the Sactown Sports app today and get in on the action. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
The stars align in West Sacramento as the A's go head-to-head with the Los Angeles Dodgers for a spectacular summer series starting Monday, June 29th. Celebrate the start of the holiday week with an action-packed series. Be there to witness one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the season. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is, what makes us different from other law firms? At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to the end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether it must go into litigation, or whether it has to go all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve.
When you get an injury, just call Gingery.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
The offseason in the NBA is off-seasoning. Boy, from Kawhi Leonard being traded to the Toronto Raptors, reported by Shams, So now Chris Haynes, much smaller scale deal, but big deal for us here in Sacramento, reporting that Precious Achiuwa has agreed to terms to re-sign with the Sacramento Kings on a 2-year, $11.5 million deal. We're very excited that Precious Achiuwa is coming back and will remain part of the Sacramento Kings. But yesterday, the NBA was caught in a whirlwind of information where out of nowhere, Chris Haynes shared that, well, the Sacramento Kings are entering themselves into the Jalen Duren sweepstakes out of nowhere. We knew it was an ongoing saga between the Detroit Pistons and Jalen Duren about what his contract would look like. He had an all-star season at 22 years old. The playoffs, though, not so great for him. There seemed to be a disconnect for both sides, and then Scott Perry said, hey, get me in on this. The Kings are reportedly meeting with Jalen Duren today to talk about what a deal could look like. It would have to be a sign and trade with the Detroit Pistons, which gives the Pistons the final say. And here to give us the Detroit perspective on everything that's going on, and I'm sure he's been trying to figure out what the hell's going on, are a lot of people in the Motor City right now with the Pistons. Our guy, my friend Koo Cahill from Locked On Pistons, joining us. Koo, have you been able to wrap your brain around this and what's going on and just the circumstances surrounding the Pistons and Jalen Duren?
First of all, thank you for having me, Matt, as always. But I have not been able to wrap my head around it because restricted free agency is very, very confusing. There's a lot of rules with the CBA that make it very hard to make any kind of fake trades. It's very, very confusing. So, and then that just combines with the fact that we've actually reached this point to begin with makes it even more just crazy to me. So, no, to answer your question, I have not wrapped my head around it.
What was the initial reaction, and has it calmed down? Has it settled in a little bit more? Like, my gut feeling, Koo, from the outside perspective, is that I believe Jalen Duren will remain a member of the Detroit Pistons. It's not like he can just straight up use the Kings as leverage in terms of Sacramento offering him an offer sheet, because they can't. Financially, they're not able to. But obviously, Domantas Sabonis has worked his way into this conversation. We knew Zach LaVine was rumored to be on the radar of the Detroit Pistons too, so I guess that's an option. What have you taken out of these rumors and these reports and where things stand with Jalen right now?
I'm kind of confused about why the Pistons and Duren are really doing all of this. I don't really understand why they're going through all this. If we are to believe the reports, because I also agree with you that the likely scenario is that he just ends up back in Detroit anyways. I'm kind of confused why they would go through all this, why go through this public, messy situation and potentially risk fracturing relationships if the belief is, well, we'll just sign you the 4-year, the max another team can offer you anyways. Why? I don't really understand why they would go through all this if that is the case. So the only way that makes sense to me is if, one, Trajan and the Pistons have decided that they have a price point and they refuse to go above that price point because they don't believe they can win and build a contending team if they go above that price point. And if that's the case, I support that. I think that makes sense then. If that's how they want to look at it, then if they should be looking at sign and trade possibilities. But if they're refusing, according to some of the reports from beat writers right now, which we'll see in a few hours if it's actually true, if they're refusing to just discuss sign and trades right now and they're saying, oh, we'll match anything he gets offered, well, why don't you just pay him what he's going to be offered anyways? Like, we know what the max is. The max he can be offered is $4,177. If you're just going to match that anyways, why risk, for lack of a better term, pissing him off and fracturing relationship if you're just going to pay it to him anyways? It kind of just, I don't really get why this is all happening if their goal is to bring him back anyways. It's confusing to me.
Koo Cahill of Locked On Pistons here on the Matt and Kayla Show. So take us back to after they were obviously eliminated in the playoffs, because what we saw from Jalen during the regular season was really good play for the most part, especially when Cade Cunningham was out with that injury. But the postseason, I do feel like he fell short of kind of what people expected. What was the talk around the Detroit Pistons at that time from fans and just media in terms of him not reaching that? And was it ever discussed on like, well, we don't know if he could be that postseason player for us?
No, yeah, there definitely has been a lot of concern, and there's been a lot of concern, confusion, and arguing that's gone on in the community since then, because the way you described how he played in the playoffs was, he probably would appreciate you very much so for being as kind as you were about it. Look, Duren was tremendous during the regular season. He was an All-NBA guy, and you mentioned that stretch without Cade really is what sold everyone in thinking like, oh yeah, when the playoffs come around, he's really gonna be able to do it. This is incredible. He's been insane. And then the playoffs came around, and just be frank, he played like a non-player. He played like a non-rotation player and got outplayed pretty badly by Paul Reed, who's the Pistons' third-string center. So at that time, after they got eliminated, it's just been a lot of, is he worth paying? Should the Pistons pivot in a different direction? Should they just continue to hope that he can develop, and that was just a young player going through some young stuff in the playoffs? Or is this a sign that he can't translate to the playoffs? Does he have skills that can translate to the playoffs? There's been a lot of discussion about it. I don't feel like there's really been a unanimous decision on that. There's a lot of different beliefs around the Pistons, a lot of different beliefs in the fan base. No one's really came to a complete answer with that. And even myself, I don't really know where I stand with it. How he played in the playoffs has thrown all of us for a loop to where we don't really know what the right answer is.
How much, if at all, do you think the Pistons should be concerned about Duren meeting, not just with the Sacramento Kings today? He also has a reported meeting with the LA Lakers, too. And the difference between the Lakers and the Kings, Lakers actually have cap space to be able to sign him to an offer sheet. The Kings do not. The Kings are completely contingent on a Domantas Sabonis or Zach LaVine sign and trade in this scenario. But do these two teams having interest in Duren at a price point that the Pistons might not feel comfortable with, does that really put a lot of pressure on Detroit? Does that raise the level of concerns, not just amongst the organization, but amongst the fan base? Or do you still feel like the Pistons and Duren are the Pistons are firmly in the driver's seat when it comes to the Duren situation?
This is how I would describe it, Matt, because I think there's a lot of risk to the Pistons doing what they're doing right now and handling how they're handling it. And I'm going to use you as a way to compare what I'm trying to say, because I don't think a lot of people haven't been able to understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to use you as a comparison.
Okay.
Let's say there is a Detroit sports radio station, and they come to you and they say, Matt, we want to pay you $5 million to work for us. We can't actually offer that right now. Yeah, exactly. You're in. We can't actually offer you that unless your radio station you're with right now works with us. They got to work with us, but we do value you at $5 million. You go back to your current radio station now and say, hey, they're giving me money that I believe I'm worth. I want to go there. Can you work with them? If your current job responded to you and said, actually, no, we're not going to trade you there, and also we're not going to pay you $5 million, we're actually just going to pay you $1 million, how do you think your attitude while working at that current place would be then?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, so that's what I think is the biggest concern here. It's not that the Kings can literally offer Duren an offer sheet. My concern here is if Duren meets with the Kings and the Kings say, hey, look, we're willing to give you that $44 million contract. We're willing to give you the $177. We're willing to do that with you. We just need your team to work with us. And Duren goes back to the Pistons and says, hey, I want to play for the Kings. They're willing to pay me the money that I believe I'm worth. You guys haven't been able to be willing to do it. Send me there. I want to be paid that money. If the Pistons' response is, hey, we're not willing to trade you actually, and actually we're not moving off our 37, 38, whatever it is, price point, people, I think, are too focused on them being able to actually say that and the Kings not be able to do anything or any other non-cap space to really change that. Like, they can't be like, oh, well, we have cap space, we're going to offer it anyways, force you to match. Just because they can't actually do that, that's not really the worry here. The worry is that Duren, as a human, as a player, is now going to have to live with the fact or not live with the fact, but want to play for a team that basically just told him, hey, we're going to stop you from going and get the money that you want. We're literally stopping you from doing so, and we're not going to pay you it, and we're not interested in trading you somewhere that will give you the money you want, and expect him to come back and be like a happy camper. That's my concern.
Koo, what's interesting on the other side is, like, clearly we've heard the names Domantas Sabonis, even Zach LaVine being part of this so-called trade if it were to ever happen. On that end, from the Pistons end, in any world, do you believe one of those guys would be a better fit than the other?
Because of a base year compensation, because of a base year compensation with the rules, the Pistons can only receive back without attaching another salary involved, $29 million. So if they were to take back Sabonis, they would have to be sending the Kings more salary than just Duren. Because even though they're paying Duren $41 the first year, it would only count in the trade as $29-ish million. Right. So they would have to then send extra contracts or extra salary with Duren to then take back Sabonis. With that said, I don't think they're interested in Sabonis. I don't think Sabonis is a good fit with Cade. I don't think they want that long-term salary. So I don't think they would be really interested in him. Zach LaVine is like, when I first saw the news, I was like, is it possible that they're just wanting to swap Duren for LaVine and wanting to clear the books long term and kind of like next year just have like more cap? I don't think they would want to do that, but I think that would be more appealing than taking on Sabonis' long-term contract. But you still run into the same issues with LaVine as well with his contract, where you have to send more money to match the salaries. I talked with a cap expert today, and they suggested to me that if the Pistons and the Kings were to actually work out a sign and trade, it very much would probably likely have to be a three-team trade where salaries get moved around, because the Kings also would be hard capped at the first apron if they execute a sign and trade. Yep. So they would have to find a way to get out of that, and the Pistons have to find matching salaries for whatever so it probably would have to be a three-team trade if they even got to that point and Duren actually got a deal and said he wants to go there.
If I were the Sacramento Kings, we're speaking with Kuka Hill from Locked On Pistons, breaking down the Detroit perspective on this Jalen Duren sign and trade potential with the Kings. Also, the Lakers having a meeting with Duren later today when free agency officially opens. If I were the Kings and I'm Scott Perry and I'm selling Domantas Sabonis to the Pistons in terms of why they would want to do this, because correct me if I'm wrong, Ku, like after finishing a number one seed in the East, I know losing in the second round wasn't the most ideal thing to happen, barely getting out of the first round against the Magic too, but in like if I'm selling Sabonis, it's, well, I know he's 30 years old, but he's probably a more established center than Duren is, and while he does have a reputation similar to what Duren just experienced of not necessarily playing his best in the playoffs, wouldn't he in theory be a more win now player for the Pistons, who are trying to enter a potential title contention window? I know you mentioned the fit with Cade Cunningham as well. Is that like selling a used car in the ears of Detroit Pistons fans?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt, about this, but I don't know if there's much of a sell for the Pistons with Sabonis. I was shocked when I heard the initial reporting that Sabonis could be the deal. Like, if the Kings actually do want Duren, I don't think they'd be able to get the Pistons a bite by selling Sabonis. Yeah. I really just don't think he fits much at all with what Cade likes. Cade likes having a lob threat. If Sabonis was like a stretch five who was able to shoot on high volume, I know last year, or I guess 2 seasons ago now, he did shoot 41%, but on very low volume. If he was a guy that took 4, 5, 6 threes a game, then I could understand it, because then it's, okay, we're pivoting away from having 2 non-shooters with Ausar and Duren. We're going to try pivot to having just one guy in Ausar and try to space out more. That would be intriguing, but because Sabonis is also not a real floor spacer, because Sabonis also has his concerns on defense as well, and because it's a longer-term salary, I just would be I would be stunned if the Pistons were willing to take on Sabonis, unless, again, you think the Kings want to attach some draft capital to that? Like that's.
I'd imagine they'd have to. I'd imagine we would expect at least a first, if not potentially 2 first-round picks going to Detroit as part of this.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see. I would be shocked if it happened, but I don't think Sabonis would be the sell. I think they would have to be something else that could get the Pistons a bite.
Cool. Before we let you go, just give me, again, we kind of talked about this earlier, but just how do you think this plays out? What do you think this ends up as? And as much as you don't want to crush the dreams of Sacramento fans over here who suddenly think we have a shot at a 22-year-old all-star center, like how do you expect this whole thing to play out?
I expect this to play out. I think he's going to end up back with the Pistons, but I really think there needs to be – I don't think the Pistons should be operating how it seems like the beat reporters with the Pistons are suggesting, that they're just not willing to engage in sign and trades right now. I think it's something they really need to be considering. I think it's something that with team construction, something they should have been considering already. But when you're talking about player relationships as well, you might have already – made him upset to a point to where he doesn't really want to come back, especially if you're not giving him the money. Like, all of this needs to be in consideration. And for what it's worth, I think if the Kings, I think the sell for the Kings with Duren is not like, I see people like trying to make fun of the Kings' pursuit. I don't think they have like a bad sell to him. It's, we give you the money and you're going to join here off an All-NBA season at 22 and you're going to be like the face of our franchise. Like, and you're playing in Cali. So like, I don't see how that's a bad sell. So it's going to be tough for the Kings to do it. I don't think they have a bad sell. I could buy that Duren actually wants to play in Sacramento. I don't think it's that crazy to think, but it's going to be hard to do so. And I think push comes to shove, it doesn't sound like the Pistons are willing to play much ball. So I think he ends up back in Detroit.
Well, I wish I would. I mean, I would be lying if I told you I'm sorry that Scott Perry is coming in and roughing up the Detroit Pistons situation. We love the chaos that he's bringing, but I still think the Pistons are very much in the driver's seat. Koo, I appreciate you taking the time to help us make sense of everything that's going down, and I guess we'll all just sit back and see how it plays out.
Absolutely, man. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
The great Koo Cahill from Locked On Pistons with a Detroit perspective on that trade. I agree with his breakdown of Sabonis completely.
It was a good one.
I just don't feel Sabonis makes sense for the Detroit Pistons, considering he's an older version of a similar problem as to why they're hesitant to pay Duren, which is how you perform in the playoffs.
I mean, it definitely sounded like it, and again, this is not like a great option, but it seemed like Levine would be a better situation for them, and that's not and that's not even a great, because you still got to go figure out other stuff.
Well, they're getting rid of Beef Stew too, aren't they? Like that, it's been widely reported.
Well, he already gone.
Beef Stew's gone, so now you're losing Jalen Duren. So now you don't have a starting center, but you have Zach LaVine, who's not going to play a lick of defense for a team that's built on the defensive end of the floor.
And he mentioned it had to be probably a three-way trade,
a three-team trade,
three-team trade. So
to make that, just financially to make things work,
because the Kings would have to send Monk somewhere, probably.
It's a look. It's fun to talk about because, like again, it gives us content in the dead of summer. But realistically, is it going to happen? I'd say no. But
the one thing the Kings can do, like Koo talked about, is the Kings can put pressure on the Pistons in the sense of they have a really good meeting with Jalen Duren today.
Yeah.
And part of that meeting is going, if we can get you here in Sacramento, we will pay you exactly what you're looking for. Maybe not necessarily a max deal, but we will pay you $45 million a year for the next 4 years, to bring you here to Sacramento. Then Duren goes back to the Detroit Pistons, and like Koo was saying, they're ready to give me exactly what I want. I want to go here. And if the Pistons go, no, we're not accepting whatever they're bringing back, we'll just deal with disgruntled version of you. At the very least, it doesn't force necessarily the Pistons' hand, but it puts them in an uncomfortable position where they have a decision to make.
It does. And like you said, I mean, it doesn't seem like things are good right now. I mean, it's already now off to a rocky start.
Right.
It takes a lot to rebuild that. Even if they do decide to pay him, it's gonna take a second for the trust to come back there. But if I'm Scott Perry, I'm like, what do you want to eat? Let me lay out the buffet. Let me put on the whole, show here. You do whatever you can to at least make things difficult.
So we have gotten some clarification on how the Kings are affording this Precious Achiuwa contract. James Ham has talked about it. A few others have reported it is going to be part of the biannual exception money, the 2-year, which is $11.3 million. Well, the Kings just offered a 2-year, $11.5 million contract. So that's how they're working their way to do this. In theory, unless I'm misunderstanding something, in theory they can still get under the first apron by waiving and stretching DeMar DeRozan, opening up the non-taxpayers mid-level exception, which is another $15 million for them to potentially pursue Kuminga, even though Sam Amick is saying they're probably not going to do that. Or if they can use that money elsewhere along the edges to add some depth, add some whatever. They're probably going to have to replace Doug McDermott. I imagine he's going to be gone. As of right now, the point guard depth on the Kings is Darius Acuff and Malik Monk, and we're not even sure if Malik Monk is fully a point guard, although I think he can hold down the backup point guard role pretty easily if he still stays here for at least the short term. So there's other roster moves that the Kings can make that mid-level exception would be beneficial for.
So when he said Jalen Duren, if he comes here, would he truly be, he mentioned, face of the franchise?
Duren here?
Yeah.
No.
You heard him say that, right?
Yeah.
Because I immediately was like, well, it's Acuff.
No, yeah.
But, Duren's here and it's a big deal, but I definitely think he's not the face of the franchise.
If the Kings have their way, Jalen Duren is the Robin to Acuff's Batman.
There we go.
It's what Bagley was supposed to be for Fox. It's the center that every point guard needs to play with. And this guy's 22 and gets to learn and play and grow alongside a 19-year-old. So
Acuff is your Cade Cunningham
essentially
in this situation.
Yes. Although that's a lot of pressure to put on Darius Acuff, but hey, that's why they drafted
Hey, he likes it.
They believe it.
Also, the Precious thing, just the biannual exception, it's basically just a timing maneuver because in order to get the full exception, they would have had to waive DeRozan like today.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, they're doing this, and then they can still waive DeRozan and get under the tax.
Yeah.
Just so everyone understands, so the first apron, because each apron presents more severe penalties. The Kings are under the second apron. The second apron is where it gets to hell. And the third apron is just you're doomed as a franchise. But the first apron is, once you hit that first apron, the penalties are you have very, very, very strict salary matching limits in trades. You have reduced ability of your mid-level and biannual exceptions. That's what the Kings are operating with right now because after the Devin Carter trade, they are hovering right at that first apron.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have severe restrictions on signing any waived players.
Got it.
Which the Kings don't necessarily have to worry about that element of things right now. But that's what the first apron is. You get under that, which again, stretching and waiving DeMar DeRozan will it get you under that and almost get you, I think it puts you right at essentially the luxury tax. Would give the Kings a lot more freedom to be able to do a few things.
Which we think is going to happen. And
this
there was
point,
even an August month being put out there recently.
Right. And the reason it would take that long is for the Kings to see if they could find a trade partner. But I almost think it's not even worth that.
I know, right?
It's not, and it's hard to suggest that cutting a player is doing them a favor. But the Kings moving on from DeMar DeRozan and letting him go where he wants to go or is able to go to play more meaningful basketball, even though if it's the Clippers just dumped Kawhi, so who knows. But I shouldn't say dumped. They got a huge haul for him.
They're going into rebuild mode.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if DeMar's itching to sign up there versus going to Miami, who just got Giannis, but...
Which, by the way, it looks like Norman Powell might be going to Chicago.
Be pretty big. So... giving DeMar that freedom, too, is, I think, doing him a big favor, which, if I'm the Kings, why not just get it over with? You know it's going to happen. Get it over with, and I'm not expecting a trade partner to come in anytime soon and go, fine, we'll trade for DeMar DeRozan's $25 million deal.
It kind of helps you, like you said, just get something off the checklist, because there is so much on there to deal with this summer.
Scott Perry's making moves again. Reportedly, he is having a meeting, sounds like face-to-face, with Jalen Duren today. Ultimately, this would have to be a sign-and-trade. Kukahill laid out it would have to be probably a 3-team sign-and-trade, ultimately to bring the 22-year-old all-star Jalen Duren to Sacramento. The Pistons would also have to be willing to take on either Domantas Sabonis or Zach LaVine as part of this deal. But at the very least, if the Kings and Duren have a really, really good meeting and they agree to a figure that Duren likes, you can put a lot of pressure on the Pistons to at least strongly consider it or risk pissing off their young center coming off of an all-star season. So, drama around the NBA. Scott Perry's right in the middle of it, and there's no place we'd rather have him be. We'll talk more about that. Crosstalk with Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles still to come, and our MLB mini-seasons update with the Dodgers in town. They put the smackdown on the A's a little bit yesterday, including a Shohei Ohtani bomb and bat flip. We'll talk about it all on Matt and Kayla, Sactown Sports.
The top young talent in the NBA is headed to Sacramento this summer for the 8th annual California Classic presented by Ticketmaster. The Kings will host the Milwaukee Bucks, Brooklyn Nets, and Golden State Warriors in a preseason showcase that's sure to bring more fireworks to your 4th of July weekend. 3-day general admission passes for July 4th, 5th, and 6th are available now. Visit kings.com/California Classic for details.
Your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Sactown Sports 1140.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026. From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Typically, a high handicapper carries an index of 20 or more. Golf Monthly's Barry Plummer offers 4 tips if you're tired of that high handicap. First, choose the right equipment. Invest in a 5-wood, which is more forgiving than a 3-wood or 3 hybrid. It's a much better option for getting the ball in the air. Second, play for bogey on par 5s. Break the longer holes into manageable chunks, perhaps aiming to hit the green with 4 easy swings while also navigating away from the trouble along the way. 3, leave the sand wedge in the bag for chipping. Up and down percentages are almost twice as good when chipping a 9-iron over a sand wedge, and 3.5 times better with the putter. And finally, stop leaving your putts short. A 20 handicapper leaves 55% of their missed putts short of the hole. Give yourself a chance with every attempt and don't leave another putt short. Try these simple tips and let's see whether your handicap starts to come down. And have some fun out there. That'll help too. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
Card collectors know there's nothing as special as a rare one-of-one card. And now you can hear a very rare one-of-a-kind sports card show right here on Sactown Sports. Whitey Gleason here inviting you to join me and Mr. True Sports Cards himself, Imran Pilati, for the True Sports Card Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sactown Sports. It's the only sports card radio show in the nation. For all your hobby needs, get to True Sports Cards, 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland. And for hobby, insight, and fun, join us for the True Sports Card Show Saturday mornings at 10 on Sactown Sports.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
The NBA's on fire right now, man, and thank God, because I was so
It has
concerned.
been on fire for a while now.
Well, the playoffs certainly helped. I was so concerned, though, with how stupidly bad last offseason was, how boring it was, that we were just going to be sitting here twiddling our thumbs waiting for Giannis to be traded. And the floodgates opened as soon as Giannis went to Miami. Now everybody's making moves. Kawhi's going. Look at all these talent going to the East. Can we talk about that?
Well, and look, I think after what happened last year, I know I poo-pooed the East a lot until it came to playoff time. And, you know, like, I know the Knicks were better than those teams they played up until the point where they actually played the actual Spurs.
Yeah.
But you can't poo-poo that hard on the East. I think we kind of overdo it a little sometimes.
I mean, it's not the West, but there's plenty of talent in the East.
Exactly.
But a lot of talent is now heading east from the West. Kawhi Leonard going to Toronto.
Mm-hmm. That's what we wanted, though.
While I hate this idea, because I would love for the retirement home in Golden State to happen, LeBron could go home to Cleveland or could go, well, he's not going to Miami, but could go home to Cleveland, which would be another talent going out east as well. We'll see what happens with Jaylen Brown in Boston. It sounds like Jaylen Brown just has no market now.
That's what Sam Amick said, is that they are not going to get what they wanted for Jaylen Brown, which means they're probably going to bring him back.
Awkward. Hey, Jaylen.
It's like
What's up, buddy?
You missed out on the whole Giannis Antetokounmpo thing, which, by the way, I felt Boston was right in it with Miami in terms of trying to make that move.
They were close.
And I think that truly did screw them, that they weren't able to close the door on that.
But maybe Milwaukee is seeing what Boston is seeing right now, which is, because I always thought if Milwaukee could trade Giannis, get a haul from Boston in terms of players and compensation, then flip Jaylen for even more players and compensation, then that would have been better than whatever Miami could offer. But maybe Milwaukee was aware of what the Celtics are aware of right now, which is maybe there aren't too many people lining up to give you the haul you thought you could for a disgruntled Jaylen Brown.
That can be awkward next year in terms of, I know for sure that is a fractured relationship. It's like you try to do that once by trading him. Now you do it again. And it's just been like ongoing. It doesn't help. The media lights fire to it.
Of
But
course.
there's no way that relationship is good.
Saw a hand rub. Does that mean something
No,
happened?
I'm just excited.
I was like, wait,
okay.
is there a campfire over here? What's going on?
I'm just excited with the. I mean, we got Kawhi going to Toronto. We got Giannis going to the Heat. We got LaMelo going to the Wolves. We've got Ja going to the Blazers.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Beef stew to the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
One of these things doesn't belong.
Yeah. I was thinking about this just a second ago. Like the Bucks kind of got the last laugh because remember when they were trading for Damian Lillard and then Drew Holiday got rerouted to the Celtics and it like immediately made the Celtics a championship contender.
Right.
At the end of Milwaukee, like that was the end of Milwaukee's run.
Right.
But at the end, John Horst, who's their GM, gets to laugh at the Celtics because by stringing them along in the trade, he's now blowing up the Celtics. He's like, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. You know what?
NBA offseason's been great so
It
far.
really has.
That
And by the way, the NBA offseason has been great. I will say this. The NFL's got some work to do because it's been nothing but like negative stories, players getting arrested. I'm telling you, like it's been the complete opposite vibe of like what the NFL offseason has been.
But that's that is NBA's superpower compared to the NFL.
Right.
NBA's star movement and trades and
That's a good
free
point,
agency
actually.
and transactions just matter
More in the
because
offseason.
The NBA is they're all, and I say this not negatively, I say this positively. The NBA is all drama queens.
Yeah.
Like it's a soap opera.
Sure.
We love it. Like we love player movement in the NBA over any other league on the planet because of how much drama and star power that there is in the NBA in that sense. But once you actually start getting to your games, when
because there's so many of them.
we're gonna just wait for the ratings of the Hall of Fame game. Like it's when
Right.
the NFL comes back, the NFL is gonna be king. The playoffs for the NBA were really good. They shattered records for a lot of the NBA playoffs, and that's fantastic. They're cooking right now, but when we get to actual football being played, I mean the NFL already basically hostile took over Christmas Day. So
Yeah.
but this is where the NBA shines.
Well,
this is it.
It's not only the drama, it's drama and players who legitimately have the power to reshape the entire league, right? Like in the NFL, it took Myles Garrett like being angry for 4 years, demanding a trade, getting a contract extension, holding out, and then he finally got traded in the craziest trade we've ever seen. In the NBA, it's just like James Harden's upset about his contract. He got traded for a third time in 4 years. Like they move around all the time because they can.
Who do you want, Jerry Jones or Rich Paul? You pick.
I don't know. Jerry's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, Jerry is very dramatic.
Jerry inserts himself in every situation
That's
with
true.
those Cowboys.
Rich Paul damn near runs the NBA, though, at this point with all of his agent superpower.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in addition to all these crazy moves that are happening around the league, it's been very busy for your Sacramento Kings, not just these Jalen Duren rumors, but we had Devin Carter being traded yesterday it was, let's be honest, a salary dump move.
Yeah.
The Kings traded Devin Carter and his $5.1 million contract to the Atlanta Hawks, attached a second-round pick to it so that the Hawks would be willing to take on that money. I know the Kings got the rights back to a player named, I think his name was Alpha. I think is his first
Alpha
name.
Kaba, yes.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Who I looked him up. He is 30 years old. He's currently playing in, I think, China.
Hell yeah.
And they drafted him in like 2017. He's never gonna play in the NBA.
Bring
but
him over.
You still get to hold the player's draft rights.
That's crazy.
Bring him on over.
He was a European player. This was the old era of the one and dones where it was more profitable to leave school than to go to the draft.
Yeah, there was no NIL.
Yeah, exactly. So he got picked, never signed, just went to Europe, and he's been in Europe for 9 years.
So how old is he now?
He's 30.
I'm all in on
Holy
this.
smokes.
But he was a one and done guy or a two and done
That's
guy.
freaking wild.
This is Scott Perry's Sasha Vezenkov. Bring his ass over. The Kings need alpha. I need an alpha Kings jersey.
That's
that would be
great.
wonderful.
Alpha Kaba, yes. He's I just looked him up earlier. I think he's playing in China right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays for the Shenzhen Leopards.
Let's go. Go Leopards. Again, in reality, it's a salary dump deal to free up a little bit of money. The Kings are making these minor moves to ultimately get themselves ideally out of the luxury tax total, but definitely under that first apron to give themselves a little more flexibility. On top of that, they used their biannual exception today they haven't officially signed it because free agency hasn't started yet
Was
is
it
so
3?
Stupid. 3 o'clock is
Yeah.
when it starts. But all this stuff has been breaking since yesterday. Precious Achiuwa coming
Yeah,
on back.
let's go. Precious
Achiuwa has been operating all summer long like he's come. I imagine within reason and within the realm of violating tampering rules and stuff like that. I have a feeling Precious Achiuwa left his end of season meeting with Scott Perry and the Kings feeling pretty good about the fact that he didn't have to move away and could probably buy a house here and come back, because he just makes a ton of sense for what the Kings need right now. And like you talked about, who the Kings are trying to be in terms of like their vision for their team. Precious checks a lot of those boxes. Fills a lot of the pillars.
He fits, man. He absolutely fits, and Scott Perry knows that, and that's why they offered a deal to Precious Achiuwa. I think it's even more telling that the story behind him coming off of his couch and whatever made him get to that point, there's always more details than we know. But the fact is Perry gave him that chance. Precious took the chance. He ran with it. He did way more than all of us expected. Anyone telling you that he didn't is probably lying. And then was able to come back and, sign with this team and hopefully contribute just as much as he did last year. But the biggest thing, too, is I think he really loves this young core, which that's where all the energy is going to start to be poured to.
He's a beam boy.
This young store. He is a beam boy.
By the way,
absolutely
no
is.
shot in hell Darius Acuff Jr. becomes a beam boy, right?
I don't think that's how it works.
Knowing his personality.
That would be funny,
Darius
though.
Acuff wearing sunglasses, lighting the beam.
Well, I mean, he wore sunglasses on draft night.
For sure. But Darius Acuff has a vibe about him, an aura, if you will.
Sure.
That suggests that he's not going to be barking with Dylan Cardwell and lighting the beam. But I don't know.
No, it might just be last year. The Beam Boys might be reserved for them, and then these rookies can find their own thing.
Maybe Caravan gets to be a beam boy.
Caravan would be a great beam boy.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
I think Sharp would too.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sharp has a great personality too. I think he'll be a beam boy. Acuff might take a little convincing.
Yeah.
Just a little convincing.
He'd put on the glasses. He just might not bark right away.
There are some rookies that are going to have rookie duty, but you see their personalities and you're like, would I ask him to do rookie duty? Acuff might fight me.
Oh, gosh. That's
Keegan was probably
my type
funny.
Of guy.
Like, I would never tell Kayla Anderson ever that she had to do rookie duties. Ever.
I'd throw the pads back in your face.
Kayla could be 19 and I would be 80. And I'm like, yeah, you're not. I'm not doing it.
You'd be surprised. I've earned my keep.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. I'd be too intimidated.
Well, now it's like, yeah, you're going to do what I say. Not you.
Like, excuse you?
Not you.
Yes, ma'am. What do you want?
Like a rookie,
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break. When we come back.
Oh, was our mini-series?
Oh, MLB mini-series. Real quick. Blah, 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 blah. The Dodgers. I didn't even write anything. Yes, we did.
Matt is out on his own game, people.
Dodgers beat the A's 9-4. Shout out Shohei Ohtani hitting a home run in front of basically a sea of Dodgers fans.
Who you picked the Dodgers?
I picked the Dodgers.
Okay, so you won.
Yeah, I won. You or Kyle picked the Finns over the Rockies. He got a 10-7 win. Kayla, you picked the Yankees over the Tigers. 3-7 loss. Sorry.
What? Oh! No, the Yankees are in a drought.
We'll pick our games
Frankie.
Off the air because when we come back, boy, Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles had to deal with the breaking news of Jalen Duren, and now they're going to get to deal with the beginning of free agency officially in the middle of their show. We'll speak with Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles next on Sactown Sports.
Like and subscribe to the Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel at Sactown Sports 1140 to get the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Matt and Kayla, and the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Alan Stiles on demand and at your fingertips. Get your fix of the Sacramento Kings, 49ers, Giants, Athletics, NFL, NBA, and the latest in sports and entertainment all in one place at Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube. Your local sports leader, Sactown Sports 1140.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Let me tell you about the Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's back.
The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich, it's so rich, and you can choose between the original or the spicy filet.
Ooh, boy.
And then you got those pickled jalapenos tucked right under the filet, and then just to top it all off, you've got a little honey drizzle right on top.
Okay, now I'm a pimento fan.
And I'm feeling the dragon fruit.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got 'em. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. Plus, get a free base with select mattress purchases. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/music. That's ethos.com/music. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Country in the Park 2, presented by your California Army National Guard, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Russell Dickerson, plus more. Enjoy line dancing, live DJs, mechanical bull, and food trucks. Tickets start at just $70. Country in the Park 2, October 23rd at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Michelob Ultra, the California Office of Traffic Safety, and Caltrans. More info at CITPFest.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
No Whitey Gleason today. He is out, but don't worry. A Styles,
Sizzler.
A Sizzle, has got you handled today. Alan, this is going to sound like a question that is barbed. It is not intended to be genuinely. I know you've seen the news of Precious Achiuwa returning.
Yeah.
And when you and I were largely in agreement on towards the end of the season, the Kings are winning games that they're not supposed to be winning.
Yeah.
You know how it played out with everything. You famously, and I know this was more a bit than it was an insult, it's like, Precious is making a mixtape. Now that he's back, now that he's returning to Sacramento, which it sounded like he wanted, does it make you feel any better at all about putting up the numbers that he did and winning the games he did, like his 28-point performance in Toronto?
I guess.
That's progress. I'll take that.
He did get to, I guess.
Because he put on the mixtape. It would have been worse if he left, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It would have been way worse if he left, but even still, who knows if he's on the squad, if it doesn't happen this way, because if they had taken, I don't know if they would have taken Darren Peterson at 2 or whatever it is, then, and you went with more of a wing or a bigger player, who knows if you still bring Precious back, right? Going with a point guard. So I guess, yeah. Do I feel better? Do I feel better than if he did this and left? Yes. But it also kind of speaks to, I guess, I saw somebody say that this was essentially what Devin Carter was being paid. So they opened up that money. I guess. Yeah.
About $6 million.
So that's what they wanted to do. Part of the reason they moved Devin. But yeah, I guess it does put into perspective, and this is not supposed to be a shot or a slight or anything. It does put into perspective how other teams viewed the season. Yeah. I mean, he had a good season, but it was pretty relative to you guys kind of weren't good.
Sure.
So it wasn't as if, wow, Precious put up these crazy numbers. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure who the Kings were bidding against.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You know,
right, because we didn't hear any other teams necessarily interested, but I mean that could also be because he truly wanted to be here. I don't know where that lies.
Right. He's back.
Yeah.
He's a King.
Yeah.
You know, how much center will he play? Even if the Duran stuff doesn't happen, running him at the 4. I know it was very important to move Keegan from playing the 4. So between Precious and DeAndre Hunter to a lesser degree, if DeAndre Hunter is still in the squad by the time the season comes around, it feels like we're done with Keegan at the 4, which I know a lot of Kings fans will be happy about. And, you know, they'll probably be less excuses for Keegan, to be honest with you. I mean, if you start putting him in a better position, quite literally, then I think there'll be some more expectations.
You don't think they consider Keegan at the 4 and Hunter at the 3 just to see what?
That's the one. That's the one. I mean, yeah. I've spoken with people very close to Keegan, and a lot of people do want him to play the 3.
Yes.
I think it depends how it looks. I mean, I saw DeAndre Hunter play for about 10 minutes with the Kings, so it's hard to make an assessment. But I feel like he's played 4 before.
I also don't know how much it really matters because, when Harrison Barnes was here, Harrison was technically the 3 and Keegan was the 4, but Keegan was damn near guarding the point guard most of the time. So it's like Keegan playing the 3 versus the 4 I don't think is as different as people say it is. I think it just has to do with your offensive workload.
It's been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It's been talked about a lot.
I think I would agree that in my mind, Keegan Murray should be your starting 3. That should be his spot. But he's going to guard 1 through, hopefully not 5, basically on a nightly basis anyway.
So, Alan, we had Kuka Hill on just a minute ago from the Detroit Pistons Locked On podcast. And just getting a feel for, what is their side even talking about? Is this even realistic? Because people get excited when they hear Jalen Duren, a 22-year-old, possibly coming here.
He wants to be here.
A reported meeting with Scott.
Yeah.
How much smoke do you think this is, or how much do you feel like this could eventually build into an actual fire?
Yeah, well, we are in about 40 minutes. At 2:30, we are having on Omari Sankofa II, and he worked for the Free Press, and he put out that article at the beginning or the morning for us, basically saying the Pistons don't intend to trade him. So I saw that. My main question to Omari is, how much does it matter where Jalen Duren wants to go? Jay sent me something. I got to reread it, but Jay sent me something about the percentage of restricted free agents that actually go to other teams. So I don't know, man, and I hate to see Sacramento, the Kings, very similar to my Giants with Aaron Judge being used in these leverage conversations. And I think there are a lot of Kings fans that saw this from Jump Street, but there are a lot of people that were, wow, he wants to come here. Okay, well, number one, he's probably going to get overpaid if he does.
Right.
And number two,
he wants the bag.
He wants the bag. And that's not to say, look, we love Sacramento.
Sure.
But when this happens, that's just how it happens.
Of course.
There's nothing wrong with saying that, right? So that all comes out, like you said, Kayla. Everybody's excited, and then reality sets in. Jay, we were going back and forth, and Kyle back there. So this is what I said yesterday. And Whitey and Jay were trying to bag on my Allen-ology. I said, you know what this is? And Whitey made that up.
Allen-ology?
Whitey made it up. It's outstanding. He made it, not me, but it's pretty good. I said, you know what this is? This is when your friend asks you to come sleep over, right? Timmy wants me to come sleep over. Timmy has asked his parents, hey, can Alan sleep over? And his parents say, yes, You're making plans to sleep over, watch Dragon Ball Z, watch Narnia, watch all the things, right? Watch Lord of the Rings.
There you go.
But the problem is Alan didn't ask his parents.
Oh, I've done this.
And and his parents going to say, no, we got plans or we're out of town, whatever it is. So you can have all the plans in the world, but the most important piece has their own say.
Right.
And they came around to it. My beloved text line, they said, Alan, that was outstanding.
It was a good Alan
They said it was better than Dave's burger one, but I didn't say that. They did.
Yeah. No, I like it because it hit home for me, man. I can go back to my days where I did the same thing.
Yeah. You know, well, we're good to go here. Hey, let me just ask my mom.
See,
that's it. Yeah, no, not going to happen.
I know a lot of Kings fans were really excited by the reports from Sam and the reports from Chris Haynes about, like, he wants to go to Sacramento because he probably feels that Sacramento is the team that's most willing to throw that bag at him.
Right.
And that was always my reaction is he choosing Sacramento over 29 other teams? No. Is he choosing the money that Sacramento is going to offer him over 29 other teams?
Yeah.
Probably.
We saw this playbook with Kuminga too.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But my ultimate takeaway, what makes me most excited about this, ultimately Scott Perry is going to be judged on the deals that he's able to close, not the deals that he was involved in. Monty McNair was famously involved in so many things but didn't close them, so he doesn't get credit for that.
Right.
But I do appreciate that now 2 off seasons in a row, Scott is not waiting for the moves to come to him that are deemed Kings worthy by the rest of the league.
Yeah.
He's inserting himself in conversations for a 22-year-old all-star, and if he can't force the Pistons' hand, but if he has a good meeting with Duren today and they agree to a number that Duren and his camp could then go back to the Pistons and go, I want this. They're going to give it to me. I want to be traded. We experienced this with De'Aaron Fox to some extent. You put pressure on that organization. Do I deal with a disgruntled center? Do I pay him the money and he's still disgruntled? Or do I lowball him and whatever? Like it puts pressure on the team. That's all Scott can do, and I appreciate that he's doing it.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, and it's not horseshoes, right? So we know this. They're going to be involved in a lot.
Yep.
They're going to be involved in a lot, and the Kings fans are going to fall in love with multiple players just based on that. It's like when you're job searching and you can envision you can envision yourself at this company and it's all great. Then you don't get that job, but you get called back for another job and you've made like 7 different lives that are great. That's going to be Kings fans with all of the moves until one thing hits. And something will hit at some point.
Absolutely.
It might be Duren. I don't know, but he's going to stay in that batter's box, Scott Perry is, until he makes contact.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We know that.
What do you got coming up?
Well, like I said, we got Amari at 2:30. We got Brendan Nunez at 3 when everything gets going with free agency. We don't even know how long Brendan's going to stay on the show. Frankie Cardicelli said, I might stop by.
I ain't doing it.
I might stop by if I have time, and I might have to leave.
We saw him here.
If the Yankees are on, no shot.
The Yankees are losing right now.
I might stop by, but I might have to leave, and I come late, and I'm like, what's going on? So we got a lot. Myself, of course, my guy Jay. So we got everybody for the next 4 hours. As keep your notifications on, especially at 3 o'clock.
I got one more question for you.
Okay.
You're a man of many, many titles.
Yes.
Where on the list, in terms of number 1 title, is Darius Acuff Jr. Whisperer? Because for my money, I've not seen a media member get a positive reaction and emotional reaction out of Acuff like I agree with you with your Draymond Green podcast thing. So where is that up there with you?
Well, look, man, at the end of the day, real recognize real. And somebody like Darius Acuff, DA5 as I call him, shout out DA5. We just kind of understood each other, and it's the beginning of a new relationship, a very genuine relationship, and I'm excited for DA5. I'm excited for the 916. I'm excited for the 209. What's the new one? What's that new one? No. The one that everyone makes fun of.
Oh, 925.
No, that's mine. It starts with a 2.
Good Lord.
It's the new.
279.
279. Shout out to 279.
A lot of numbers.
I will just say, I know we got to go. You took Darius Acuff Jr. on a roller coaster ride because you started with food.
Yes.
And then we went up. We got to the peak, which was the Draymond question.
That's right.
And then we ended with, here's my shoe size. And
That's
he
right.
went, all right, get me out of here.
Yeah, no, look, he's not going to forget that interview, though.
Yeah, he's going to send you sneakers.
That's right.
You get 4 hours of Alan Stiles, Jay Johnson, all the guests coming as well. It's free agency day, and it will